Strait from south to north over the weekend. It marked the first time in a year a U.S. warship has transited the strait. USS Mustin is part of the Ronald Reagan Aircraft Carrier Strike Group patrolling the South China Sea in recent weeks. The Pentagon opted not to send the aircraft carrier through the strait. That hasn't happened since 2007. The patrol came hours after the Trump administration slapped more tariffs on Chinese goods, sparking a trade war with China, who retaliated immediately. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill rejecting calls for his resignation. The Republican is accused of inappropriately touching a lawmaker and several other women. He denies any wrongdoing. A chance for Tom Petty fans to own some memorabilia.
A 1965 Gibson SG electric guitar owned by Tom Petty could be yours. It's being auctioned along with the late rocker's top hats on July 21st. Heritage Auction says the guitar was played by Petty during his 1986 tour with Bob Dylan. A portion of the proceeds will benefit two Southern California charities, the Midnight Mission to help the homeless and the Tazi Animal Rescue Fund. The guitar and top hat are being sold by Petty's friend Norm Harris, who runs a rare guitar shop. Petty died in October at 66. Ann Carrick, Fox News.
Starbucks to pull plastic straws from its stores globally by 2020 as businesses are being pushed to be more environmentally friendly. The Seattle-based company says it will instead use straws made from other materials and lids designed not to need straws. McDonald's also recently said it would switch to paper straws in the UK and Ireland by next year and begin testing of alternatives in some U.S. locations. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News Radio.
Apply today for First Hawaiian Bank's United Mileage Plus credit card, and upon approval, you will be entered to win 2 round-trip business class tickets on United. You'll also earn up to 30,000 bonus miles, 5,000 upon opening your new account, and 25,000 after spending $1,500 within 3 months. And you'll get 2 times the mileage on United ticket purchases. Apply by August 31, 2018. Stop by any branch or visit us online at FHB.com. Terms and conditions apply. Sweepstakes starts on July 1, 2018 and ends on August 31, 2018. Open to legal residents of Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands aged 18 years or older. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Visit www.fhb.com/United Sweepstakes for official rules and complete details. Member FDIC.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chili's Rib Fest is back. You can get saucy with their fall-off-the-bone, slow-smoked half-rack of ribs for $10.99. Available in original, roasted garlic, or honey chipotle flavors. Served with home-style fries. Add an additional half-rack of ribs for just $7. Low and slow is the key to more flavor. Chili's Rib Fest for $10.99. Available for a limited time. Chili's. More life happens here.
Sometimes a penny saved can lead to much more than a penny earned. With GPA Energy Sense rebate program, the power is yours. Earn money back while saving on your monthly power bill. GPA Energy Sense rebate program will help lower your initial costs when purchasing approved GPA energy efficient appliances and upgrades with monthly savings you can expect. For more Energy Sense saving ideas, visit GuamPowerAuthority.com or like us on Facebook. GPA, bringing energy solutions to you.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Speaker Benjamin Cruz has introduced 2 new tax increase measures aimed at bridging the $145 million revenue shortfall he says the government of Guam is facing in the next fiscal year. One bill would increase the hotel occupancy tax from 11% to 15%. The other would raise the business privilege tax to 5.5%. Both would take effect October 1st if they become law. In a release yesterday announcing the two proposals, the Speaker said he doesn't like either of the bills, but no one can cut their way out of a $145 million shortfall without catastrophic consequences, he said. If we don't replace some of the revenue we've lost, he warned that we'll lose much more than money on October 1st. The University of Guam, Guam Community College, Guam Memorial Hospital, and the Guam Department of Education, along with the legislature and executive branch, have been called on to absorb another $91 million in budget cuts, even though general fund appropriations already have been reduced by $62 million. A memo issued last week by the governor's budget office says additional cuts are necessary because the 2% sales tax has been repealed and the revenues expected from it are no longer available. BBMR circular issued by Deputy Director Lester Carlson projects a budget shortfall of $153 million next fiscal year. That's $8 million more than the $145 million shortfall estimated by Speaker Cruz. The Guam Department of Education has been asked to bear the largest cut, an additional $37 million, on top of the $12 million in cuts the department has already implemented. Carlson told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he is dismayed. He said the administration has been consistent since February in saying that we have to cut operational expenses and raise revenues. Nothing has changed, he said. Carlson and DOA Director Edward Byrne have said that 1,500 GovGuam employees may have to be furloughed on October 1st when the new fiscal year begins if no additional revenues are raised. We'll have more news after this.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igumamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio says he took advantage of what he called a teachable moment Saturday night when he lifted the firearm out of the holster of a police officer from behind. Tenorio said it was about 10 at night after the awards ceremony at the 6th annual Pleasure Island Barbecue Block Party when he approached some officers to say goodnight. He said he noticed one officer's firearm did not appear to be secured. The strap holding it in place, he said, appeared to be loose. The lieutenant governor said it looked odd, so he pulled on it, and the gun came out easily. He said immediately he returned the weapon to the officer. Tenorio, who's a candidate for governor, said that his concern was public safety. He said there were a lot of people there, and somebody with bad intentions could have turned the weapon on him or anybody else. In hindsight, however, the lieutenant governor said he probably should have gone around to the officer's front and told him that the weapon appeared loose. The lieutenant governor said alcohol played no role in the incident. He denied that he had had too much to drink, saying absolutely not. As of the end of June, 51,382 voters had registered to vote in the August 25th primary election, just 47 days away. The last day to register is 10 days prior to the election. Those who want to register to vote in the primary have until August 15th to do so. You can register at the Guam Election Commission office in the GCIC building in Agana, or you can register with a deputized registration clerk or registrar at your village mayor's office, public high school, or at UOG or the GCC campus. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Well, thanks very much, Kevin. Partly cloudy skies and hot with isolated showers and thunderstorms. 78, 80 degrees when I got into the car this morning. It was already starting to burn up. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs today. 89 degrees with a max afternoon heat index near 102. And was it Trish that sent me a picture yesterday of her dashboard that said 108 degrees?
Wow.
Is that even possible?
Yeah, inside the car, it certainly is a little hot. outside, not so much, but yeah, things are going to get up there today with the humidity that's setting in, the generally dry weather pattern. That's looking like it's going to be kind of short-lived, though. We've got a disturbance 92W, which is way down to our southeast. Not expected to develop, but it's going to team up with an upper-level system it's moving through. So that gives us a chance of thunderstorms and more rain.
They're ganging up on us? The weather is ganging up on us?
Yeah, the tropical weather gang. Yeah, they're doing it. So, but again, right now, radar showing just some isolated stuff out there, nothing to really be concerned about. And what a great sunrise this morning. So.
You're raving about that. So, sunrise this morning is at 6 o'clock. Sunset tonight at 6:52. Overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Now, let me switch over to the satellite imagery, and in this we can see all the way out there we got the super typhoon Maria, which continues to kind of lumber around aimlessly. Is there a serious defined track on this thing yet?
It's slowly working its way. It looks like now it's going to pass just north of Taiwan, just north of the island, and go on into China. Right now hitting some unfavorable sea surface temperatures, so it's slowly weakening as it moves on in towards China. And then as you move the map there, you can see 92W down to the southeast there. Yeah, that blobage down there. Just going to pass on through over the next 2 or 3 days, but this dry weather we've had yesterday and then probably today, looks like that might be winding down as we enter tonight and tomorrow and the rest of the week.
Groovy. All right, I appreciate that. Lots of news and weather here. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Portions of the program brought to you by my friends Furniture at Kathy Style. She's been my friend for a long time. The Guam's newest furniture store, now open, offering a fabulous selection of furniture and hot deals every day, like the stylish and comfortable Domino reclining sofa and love seat, $999. It's style you can afford at Furniture Kathy Style, located in Hagåtña.
I'm a working mom and could really use more hours in my day. Thankfully, my non-electric Kinetico water treatment system has simplified my life. It's easier to clean my home with Kinetico conditioned water. No more scrubbing tubs or wiping water spots. Cleaners work better and last longer. And all the Kinetico drinking water we want is right here. No more lugging home bottled water. All this, and I'm saving money too, thanks to Kinetico.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com. When you absolutely positively need confidentiality in your real estate transactions, the people you've got to talk to, because they can keep a secret, are at Security Title.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy-to-spot, better-for-you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Tax hikes. That's going to be the theme of the program today. Tax Hike Tuesday. Welcome to it. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson, and sharing the microphone and the news and talk responsibilities with the amazing Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. Good morning, Kevin Kerrigan.
Good morning, Ray Gibson.
And I appreciate Kevin has been he's been actually a very, very busy news guy. He's got a ton of stories that he's been following around, writing about the tax hikes that Speaker B.J. Cruz is now proposing, because we have to save the government of Guam. Got to find $105 million in additional tax revenue that needs to come in, along with the spending cuts and freezes that the Speaker has proposed. Looks like that's the target here. $90 million from an increase in the BPT, that's the business privilege tax, or the gross receipts tax, to 5.5%, and 4% increase in the hotel occupancy tax. And my guess is that the folks in the hotel and restaurant business are probably not going to be fond of this particular solution here, considering just how crappy parts of Guam are beginning to look, and we sure could use a coat of paint around here. And
sounds like a good follow-up story.
I think it might be a good follow-up story. We'll see what we can follow up with. BJ says, we all need to understand, I can write a budget that cuts $145 million in cost, but each of us must be prepared to pay an awful price. And it could be an awful price for those of you watching on Facebook Live this morning, and I'll say hello to you in just a second. I decided somebody had sent this picture floating around, another version of this picture floating around the other day, and it's a guy. This is a picture of a guy on Guam, because the other picture that I saw had a rubbish man thing in the background. So I know it's a Guam guy holding a brown tree snake that is easily got to be twice his size. Got to be twice his size. So just a note here, with the recent awful weather that we've had, and it's gone from the just snotty weather we had as a result of the storm that went through here into the muggy, hot, unseasonably put your underwear in the freezer kind of weather that we're having right now. I think the snakes don't exactly know what to do. So I think they're out looking around for some place to go where it's a little bit more comfortable than in the boondocks. And
yeah.
They're very good chance that might be in your living room, guys. So if you don't have a mechanism yet, there are, you can buy them online. I bought a couple of these online a couple of years ago. I bought one for me, and mine is about 1 meter long. About as long as my arm, and it's a snake stick. It's got a grip on one side, and on the other side, it's got this claw. And the idea is that you can humanely catch a snake, any kind of snake. You can humanely catch a snake, and then you take it out, and then you chop it to small snake pieces with a machete. And you can buy these online. I'll see if I can find the place I bought mine on eBay and share that with you. The company knows about Guam, and it knows that we've got issues with snakes that are twice the size of this Filipino guy, and they'd be more than happy to send them to you. The guy even gave me a discount. I bought one for my mom's house, and it's 6 feet long, because there's nobody there that wants to get within 6 feet. I'm thinking about getting one for the legislature, about 10 feet worth. But just FYI, that's one of the things that you just need to know are going to be out there. Anyway, 20 after, and it's time to start with the Cheers theme.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Nietzsche saying a peek before heading into the kingdom to see what's going on. Ted Lewis, yes, that one. Good morning, Ray from Billings, Montana. Good morning, Randy Kruger. I see Nick Perlowski there. Juanita Machi's online. Elena Jose, my old classmate. Good morning, Felix Regis, Vivian Cunningham, Ron of Zehe, Deborah Wise, and she's got a comment down the line I'll talk about in a second. Manana Sidus Ramon from Ron of Zehe, and we pass that along to everybody else. Pretty Ashley Rodriguez is online. I see Rita Hugo, Frank Tejito, Glenn Lujan. And he's wishing, says, good morning, Ray and Kevin. Actually, you probably have to make a Ray and Kevin and Mike, because there's actually 3 of us here at the radio station. And if we don't at least homage to Mike every once in a while, my microphone silent. Sometimes you won't be able to hear me at all. Pete Guerrero and Deborah says, good morning, Ray, Michael, and Kevin. Can the legislature and administration pass a budget that prevents the Department of Education from meeting the mandate of the all students are entitled to a fair education law? Not without getting into a whole lot of trouble from who's the guy? Bob Klitsky. That's his deal there. That's his bailiwick, and I got a feeling that he would probably have kind of a serious problem with that. At any rate, cutting funding for personnel, maintenance, and air conditioning jeopardizes the education environment. James Martinez, hey, buddy, nice to see you there. Lillian Cruz, Sean Gumatauta saying, good morning, fellas. Gwen Timinglu, Lily Cruz, Charlene Marchessault, Rico Blancaflor says, "Good morning, Guam." No, it's great to hear from all of you, and I appreciate the commentary that is going to take place as we start moving through the morning show at 6:22. Is there the chance? And I don't know. We'll spend some time with the guys over at the Ed Board and maybe John Fernandez if he's around to see what can happen. They've already had a plan kind of in place. So as we start talking about deeper cuts that need to get made at the Department of Education, frankly, all they need to do is dust off some of the conversation that they were having just a little bit ago, February and March, and basically pick up where they left off. And the idea in the budget for next year, if you recall the conversations, was to start with the standards in the Adequate Education Act that Senator Klitsky had authored and struggled to get through at the legislature and signed into law. It finally did. And now we've got at least these basic standards that identify what adequate education is supposed to be and feel like here on Guam. And so, like I said, when they went in for their budget hearing, that's what they used as the basic template. This is what it costs us just to meet these mandates here of the Adequate Education Act. Is there going to be more after that? Are there going to be deeper cuts? And if there are, they're going to have to take place from outside of those. I hear what you're saying. It'll be interesting over the next several hours to start talking to people and getting the sense of what we're talking about. It's like I said, Tax Hike Tuesday, because Senator B.J. Cruz is submitted for approval by the people and his colleagues, Bill 314-34. And this one here is the one that would increase the hotel occupancy tax, I believe. Yes. It'll raise it from 11% of the rental price charge or paid per occupancy per day from 11 to 15%. There's another piece of legislation that would provide for an increase in the gross receipts taxes from 4%, which I'm trying to think. We're not currently paying that. We're still. The governor hasn't acted on the measure that was repealed by the legislature, right? Has not signed it, has not vetoed it.
Right, that's right. But the 5% BBT remains in place until October 1,
or until the governor
September
takes
31st.
Some kind of effect.
No, I mean,
really?
Yeah. The 5% was not repealed. The only thing that was repealed was the 2% sales tax. Yeah.
Did we not go all the way back to 4 in that?
It doesn't. It goes
because I thought it would. I thought they wanted to leave it at 5%, but BJ
they wanted
said
to
it was
extend
not
it
germane.
beyond October 1st.
Right, but BJ said that wasn't germane, so he took that out.
He took out the extension beyond October 1st, but
It's
what
still
went
in
into place on April 1st
Is
is still in
effect.
place. It's 5% from now until September 31st.
All right, so if BJ gets his way on this bill, it'll go from the 5% to the 5.5%?
Yes.
On the start of the new fiscal year. Is the deal.
Perhaps.
So perhaps. I don't know. There's going to be the same guys getting out there and rumbling and grumbling, and I'm going to be one of those same guys that gets out there and rumbles and grumbles. I'm not convinced. Not convinced here that enough is being done to cut the spend in the government of Guam. There's another story Chris Barnett did. You'll hear it. I'm going to play it this morning. Chris Barnett did a story on KUAM where he's basically talking about they haven't slowed down on any of the hiring over at the governor's office, and they're still handing out raises. So how is it possible? I mean, in the face of all of the doom and gloom that my Democrat friend BJ, and it hit me last night. I was thinking about this as I was pondering, the idea that there's going to be this hike in the taxes from 5 to 5.5% or whatever it was, 4 to 5.5%. It hit me. I said, wait a second, what's BJ doing? He was my fiscal conservative. He was my fiscal conservative Huckleberry at the legislature, and all of a sudden I'm looking around and he's looking at taxes to hike, and I'm thinking, why? And then it hit me. Like a thunderclap hit me. He's a Democrat. That's right. Tax and spend, babe. No. Well, at least in this case, maybe not so much tax and spend, but I think he's got that feeling like he's the only one that's going to be able to save the government of Guam. If the cuts aren't enough, and worse, if they're not being done, then what have we got? What have we got left to save? I don't know. Whatever is worth saving in the government of Guam is hike the taxes. We all need to understand. I can write a budget that cuts $145 million in costs, but each of us must be prepared to pay an awful price. Now, when he says that, each of us must be prepared to pay an awful price. Who is he talking about? Is he talking about people over at Adelup? Is he talking about people over at the legislature, him and 14 other guys? Is that who he's talking about? Because I'm okay with them paying an awful price.
Absolutely.
I don't want to pay any more awful prices around here. I'm out here in consumer land like everybody else, and we've ripped off the people of Guam from being able to get a break on the price of gasoline. And now we're talking about increasing the taxes so that we can support more loosey-goosey spending and $70,000 nose pickers over at the governor's office. Who are we talking about? I'll share it with you in a few minutes when we get to the other side of headlines. So press the Avra button because we're going to be hearing from that. And then we've got the other interesting story that's floating around. Ray Tenorio was a grabby guy apparently over at the barbecue festival that I didn't go to. You might recall we were talking about this. I was gonna go. I was making a big deal. I was plugging the heck out of it, and I thought I'm going to this because this sounds like a good time. This barbecue festival, food and friends and beer, and walking around and beer. And it was nighttime in Tumon and beer.
Sounds like someone had too much beer that night.
No, I didn't. No, it rained.
Not you.
Well, he denies. He denies. He
yeah,
says,
because, sober people always walk up behind policemen and take the guns out of their holsters. That's something I do every moment when I'm sober. I think, wow, I should do that.
That's why you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to stand behind me ever. I always want to be able to see you coming, Michael. And we've got audio. There's on the ground journalism, and Kevin Kerrigan interviewed Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio on the subject, and we'll play the audio for you in a little bit because it did not come with video. There's some video stuff from Chris that we'll play a little bit later on. But it's not the first time he's actually grabbed anything. There is a famous picture floating around on the internet somewhere. Yeah, well, I know it's years ago, but this being an election year, Kevin, I got a feeling the image, and it was unflattering to say the least. I mean, the frame before it and the frame after it would have, I think, told a different story. But the frame that had been used over all of these years of Ray Tenorio trying to grab the gavel out of at the time Speaker Judy Wonpat's hand, just a slight little woman. Just a slight, and he's up over her,
yeah,
and he's got the gavel, and he's trying to wrest it out of her hands. And there's a great political backstory behind all of this that nobody will care about hearing. No one will care one way or another about it. But just wait. I'm surprised it isn't coming out. Maybe after the primary. Maybe after we've whittled it down and Carl Gutierrez wins the primary election. Maybe then we'll see that picture.
Yeah, no use shooting your best shot when the competition's just getting.
I just tossed that piece about Carl winning the primary just because. Just want to wake Lou up. Dennis is going, what? What do you think? How does he know? What's going on?
The fact that you said it has them all going, what?
Frank says, play that back. I want you. Can I hear that again? Anyway, listen, it's 6:31 in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show, and you can communicate with me in a variety of means. Facebook Live is on and playing right now. You can also find me at, where is it? Ray Gibson Show at gmail.com. Because almost like there's a bunch of, I have, like everybody else, I've got 20 different email addresses, right? So there's like kind of a business one that I use, Ray Gibson Radio. But if you want it to get to me and it's about the show, if you're leaking something that's very, very important that needs to get leaked, please put your name. I'll keep it a secret. Ray Gibson Show at gmail.com on the World Wide Web. And I already said the Facebook Live. And for those of you that have my WhatsApp and my Facebook name on Messenger and all of that stuff, love to hear from you that way. It's 6:32 in the morning. First look at headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Senator Michael San Nicolas has written to the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, asking for their help in investigating what he calls a potential tax evasion here on Guam. The senator's July 6 letter to ATF resident agent in charge Jeffrey Gaines refers to a Guam Daily Post article regarding the June 2017 tax lien placed on Midpac distributors for unpaid gross receipts taxes amounting to $14.7 million. Midpac is a wholesale distributor of alcohol, tobacco, and other products. The senator, who is a candidate for the Guam delegate seat, calls the report alarming because wholesale distributors are exempt from the gross receipts tax. In place of the GRT, San Nicolas points out that Guam levies a tax on tobacco products under a bonded warehouse system. Under that system, tobacco products can only be released from a locked warehouse in the presence of a revenue officer. In effect, San Nicolas says no tobacco products should be sold without first having the tax assessed. John Calvo, Midpac president, recently stated in an email to the Post that Midpac is a long-standing privately owned local company and it is meeting all of its tax obligations to the government of Guam. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. is suggesting that the legislature propose a 6-month budget rather than a budget for the entire year. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz, who's in the midst of preparing next year's budget, Uggan said that the adoption of a 6-month spending plan would restrict the expenditure of public funds to critical government services and would give the legislature the opportunity to monitor the overall impact of the Trump tax cuts, and that may help avoid a tax increase. Uggan sent the letter after Speaker Cruz yesterday proposed raising the business privilege tax to 5.5% and increasing the hotel room tax from 11 to 15% to help fill a projected $145 million revenue shortfall in the next fiscal year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
6:34 is iConnect time. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Hi, this is Kathy, and I'm back in Guam ready to set off the fireworks with our 4th of July sale at Furniture Kathy Style. It's packed with fabulous furniture and prices that will blow your mind. Get 15 to 25% off store-wide or 12 months interest-free with approved credit. Our beautiful lamps are buy one, get one 50% off. Save big on hot deals like our 4-piece Ashley Slade bedroom set, starting at just $4.99. Stop by and see us at Furniture Kathy Style in Hagåtña.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL, that's American President Lines, shipping the future.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
You know what? A lot of activity on the roadways, but I don't see anything slowing down. Into and out of the capital city on Marine Corps Drive and Route 4, you might see a few extra cars on the roadways up and down Marine Corps Drive, especially around the Kmart area and DPW and ITC building. You might see a few extra cars in traffic right now. I'm looking at a line just a little bit coming out of Route 10A, making its way towards Marine Corps Drive. There was a little bit of construction on the on Marine Corps Drive, making that right-hand turn onto 10A, and that was slowing traffic down, but it looks like there might be a little bit of a delay getting off 10A back onto Marine Corps Drive, whether you're turning right or left, and maybe that has to do with those guys unwrapping their construction work here. And down in Tumon, a few extra cars than normal at this time of day, but nothing that is going to slow you down. It looks like it's moving fairly swiftly here. That's right now traffic on The Point, 636.
Morico Equipment on EPOW Road is expanding. Morico now requires heavy equipment diesel service technicians to join their highly qualified service team. In this role, you'll be responsible for all types of repairs and maintenance of transport trucks, heavy-duty off-road equipment, diesel generators, trailers, and buses. They're seeking specialist mechanics with previous training and experience as diesel or heavy equipment mechanics or diesel generator technicians. Morico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. Find out more on their website at moricoequipment.com.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Thomas needs to start talking. I guess 6:37 in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. That's usually about 10 o'clock. And excuse me as I try to unfurrow my brows and get myself a little bit centered. I'm messing around with some video settings because I want to make sure that this part here you'll definitely be able to hear. But those of you that are watching on Facebook Live or at thepoint.g, you should be able to see the video as well. 6:38, and this is the thing that we had been talking about in the last couple of days. Is there's a credibility gap that exists. And I think it exists because while B.J. Cruz and there's some over at the legislature that suggest that the government of Guam really needs the money, otherwise we're not going to be able to make ends meet. Critical services aren't going to be fulfilled, and critical positions in the government of Guam will go vacant, and all of that. And so they've said we've got to go out and ask more from the people of Guam. B.J. Cruz wants to nick you for another 0.5% on the business privilege tax. I'll back up. He doesn't want to, but he believes that the mathematics of the FY 2019 budget demands that. And if that's the case, don't you suppose there would be more saving going on now? And Chris Barnett has been looking around at the hiring patterns. He knows how to FOIA the numbers as well as anybody else does, and has been keeping track on specifically hiring and salaries in the governor's office. He filed this report yesterday. Mike, if we could.
Your island, your network.
As GovGuam heads into budget talks, expecting an estimated $145 million shortfall in fiscal year 2019, the governor's office continues to give out pay increases and hire staff assistants. According to documents obtained by KUAM News by way of Freedom of Information Act requests, 2 more Adelup staffers have received raises. Christina Tina Blas, a staff assistant for the governor, received a $5,000 increase in pay, according to docs obtained from DOA. Blas was terminated on Friday, June 8th, and rehired with the same position title on Monday, June 11th, but her pay went from $40,000 to $45,000 annually. Blas is also the campaign spokesperson for the Tenorio Ada gubernatorial team and was recently featured in a Bota commercial. Another staff assistant with the governor, Flora Fagan, also terminated on Friday, June 8th, and rehired with the same title, but with a $6,250 increase in pay on Monday, June 11th. Fagan's pay went from $33,750 to $40,000 a year. KUAM News also reporting in late June the story of 2 Adelup staffers who received nearly $30,000 in raises. Blas telling KUAM News she was never fired from the governor's office. Governor Eddie Calvo disagreeing with how we report pay increases and hiring at Adelup, saying his administration has reduced personnel costs and new hires are simply replacing vacancies created by employees who have left the governor's office.
How do you have personnel costs that are down when you folks report that there's additional hiring and pay increases? Is there something wrong with the math?
In other Adelup hiring news, former Guam Environmental Protection Agency Deputy Administrator Yvette Cruz hired as a staff assistant at the governor's office. Cruz resigning from her position at GIPA on Friday, June 22nd, and hired the following Monday, with her pay going from $65,623 to $70,000 a year. Vanessa Augustine Judikba also hired as a staff assistant at Adelup on June 25th. Judikba making $40,000 a year in salary, and she's related to former Senator Tony Ada's brother-in-law, Peter Judikba. When asked if it would save money to leave vacated positions empty, the governor's spokesperson responded by saying, quote, "We're not filling all of the empty positions."
There are people that have left. So I can tell you that when it comes to Adelup, personnel cost-wise, we're down. And how are we able to help fortify certain positions in Adelup and have lower personnel costs? Is because there are also been reductions in personnel, but that hasn't been reported.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
And if you go and take a look, quiet. If you go and take a look at the story that is posted at KUAM, it'll give you the figures and some of them. I don't want to say that they're quite alarming. I'll just say that some of these figures I think are relatively high given the almost innocuous nature of the title of staff assistant. You got a staff assistant there that's making $65,000. Another staff assistant that's getting $67,000. Another one $70,000 staff staff assistant. And as I've said before, you know, it just seems to me that if you got a title like staff assistant, maybe you ought to be in charge of something. I don't the Port Authority or the airport. Maybe those are six-figure salaries. Maybe we'll get 2 staff assistants and put them together, and that will equal 1 director or something like that. Let me take that off the screen and put some more of this on the screen. Hey, listen, here's the way it works. Facebook Live, and you can go there and type in your comments on all the things that we've been talking about. Sahara Defensor, just reading this one cold. Haven't been home in a while, but confused on these tax increases to cover essential government services when there have been so many press releases from Adelup that still get emailed to her about all the surplus in the government. I'm so confused. James Howard just says lies. Jeanette Gigi Cruz, what the H is happening? Political promises. It must be payback time. Or something. So that's where the credibility gap comes from, isn't it? Where you get one guy over here at the legislature who says, government of Guam is going to get flushed down the toilet unless we raise the taxes, unless we go back and get some more money out of the people's pockets and shore up the government of Guam. Everybody's talking about how broke it is, but you know, I'm sorry, just trying to figure out what vital positions need to be filled at 70 grand a year. I'd love for somebody to be able to defend and explain some of those numbers, and frankly, I'm not hearing it. And if you're hearing it, or if you're one of them that needs to defend those numbers, 888-8255, because there's a lot of people, and how many of them are there out there? I'll give it to you like this. 51,000 registered voters. Did you hear that was in Kevin Kerrigan did that in the headlines just a few minutes ago? That's the number from Maria Pangilinan and the Guam Election Commission. We had 51,000 registered voters out there. And may I send a message to all 51,000 of you, do your jobs. That's you got one thing to do on Election Day, and it's not to get out there and swing by these little ad hoc precincts that get. You know what happens at those? You know what happens? Can I tell you what happens at those? It's that people want to see you pass by. It looks like they're having breakfast. It looks like they're having lunch. It looks like there's some great, grand GOP, God's own party, and Democratic deals. But you know what they're doing? It's actually people that are watching the cars go by, and they know who you are. They know, and they say, there's Ray Gibson, just passed by. He's going to go vote now. So we know that Ray has gone to vote. Don't necessarily know who he's voted for. The presumption is that when I'm done and I come back and finish, and if I eat under your tent, the presumption is maybe I voted for one of your guys. I think that's the way that works. But there's active surveillance going on there. That's what's happening. So get in there. Yes, Brad, there is balutin going on at those things. And if you're wondering what it is that I want Butsi Butsi and Empanada from the store in Anigua on 9th Street. Where do I want it from? I'm not going to be able to remember off the top of my head. Anyway, 888-8255 is the telephone number, and that's what we get to play around with. It will be interesting later in the program as we talk about liberation festivities that are supposed to be starting. What is that, tomorrow? I think is when they're going to have. I got somebody from the governor's office coming in a little bit later on to talk about that. You know, for the kids, and then we'll spend some time talking about liberation, and I just think it's kind of interesting and almost ironic that we're talking about liberation here. One of the things that I'd like us to be liberated from is I'd like us to be liberated from high prices. I'd like us to be liberated from high prices. They're going to go up all by themselves. There's a story in today's Daily Post about the price of eggs going up. Have you seen it? I mean, have you seen the price of eggs? Not have you seen the article. I'm asking you, have you seen the prices going up? We were I'm trying to remember where we were at a party at Yuka's house. And one of the girls wanted to play one of these party favor games. And we're like, oh, okay, that sounds like fun. What are we going to play? What do you need for the game? And she says, I'll need 6 eggs. And Yuka said no, because 6 eggs is like $4 anymore. And we're not going to play a game where I'm going to take $4 of food and do something awful with it. So can we play it? Can we play it with rocks? I have plenty of rocks. Is there a game that we can play with the rocks in a yard instead of the eggs? Because I don't want to spend any good money on a game for $4 worth of eggs. So the prices are going to go up all by themselves. You take a look at the Consumer Price Index, and I shared a little bit of that report with you a couple of weeks ago, and how even before the tax hikes went into effect, we were already paying on the average about 7.7% more for all kinds of stuff. And where are we today? Imagine that now that the second quarter report is out, we're probably going to see some additional numbers on top of that finally, and maybe a truer sense of what that first initial business privilege tax hike cost all of us. So when we start hearing politicians and it doesn't matter to me where they are, politicians of any stripe, anywhere, the question that I've got is, how are you going to liberate me? Viva liberación. How are you going to liberate me from the high prices that I have to pay now? Because it's moving in the opposite direction. 6:48 in the morning, and a story that was floating around yesterday I want to get an update to was a couple of DYA clients that had been escaped. And the question I've got for Peter Alexis Adda is, did you catch them? Good morning, Peter.
Well, first of all, let's make one thing straight.
Yes, go ahead.
Not escape, walk out.
They walked out.
Big difference between the two words.
Okay. So who let them? Were they?
Would be similar to the one at DOC, or those kids that are locked up. In this particular case, it's a walkout because the home environment that they're staying is an open, free home. They walk around, and it's just that we monitor them. As of this morning at 5:30, when I made the call to double check, from last night, no sightings. We have been getting tips, and the tips were followed through and to no avail. In about an hour from now, the next group will be going out to do some searching. What we do know is that the girls did change outfit, and they call this, we believe that they went separate ways.
Split them up. Yeah. I've seen that in the TV shows.
So the word would be pretty close. Whoever may be harboring these girls, I would hope that they would do the girls big help and call us in at 735-5022. So that they can bring them in for their own safety.
So the clarity, Peter, just one point here. The clarity is they did not escape from a facility. They were on some kind of home-based detention. Is that what it was?
That's correct. That's
okay.
Correct.
And
that's
so
right.
they
That's a good description.
So they walked away from their home-based detention and have been out of communication with the people that are responsible for watching them and keeping track of them. Is that correct?
Okay. Let me give you an
just trying to, I appreciate the difference in the word structure here, but the fact of the matter is they're supposed to be someplace and they aren't, and so whether you want to call it an escape situation or whether they hung a rope out the window and split that way, they're not where they're supposed to be. They're not being confined.
Okay, let me give you the exact situation. The girls were sent in to go get their clothes so that they can, we only have 3 clients in Cottage. And because of the low number, they normally would stay at the house. But because of the numbers being so low in the evening, because of the shortage, we have, this is a co-ed. So we have to have a female guard and a male guard. It so happened probably Friday night that, going on Friday night, that there might have been a female not able to come in. I don't know what the situation is. But anyway,
so they said you don't have to stay in the cottage, you can go home?
No. they're moved upstairs to the what's called the main building, just for the night, and then the next morning after their breakfast, they would go back to their cottage.
Okay.
Now, what had happened was that the girls were sent in to get their clothes, kind of wash up, tidy, before going to the main facility.
Okay.
Because this is co-ed, we have to close the door. Now,
yes.
After 3 to 5 minutes, when the female guard haven't noticed any movement or the girls coming out, she knocked on the door and called their names, and when nothing, no results or no response, she opened the door, only to discover that they had gone out the south window.
Okay, that sounds very much like an escape to me. But I get what you're saying. Why was the guard not in the room with them?
That's hey, you're bringing up a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems to me if there was an opportunity for an escape or an egress nearby, then it would seem to me that the prudent guard would have said, "I'm going in there with you. I'm a girl. You're girls. I can watch, and because there's nothing on you that I haven't ever seen before. I've got mine just like that, and so I would have gone in with them, watched them get their stuff done, and then escort them wherever it was they were supposed to go. So it looks like there was certainly a lapse in judgment. Are these two girls considered dangerous in any way?
No, not at all.
Okay, we just need to get them back so that they can get back under control.
We want them back primarily, Ray, for their own safety.
Sure.
These girls probably just having some fun time, but you never know what's on the other side of the street, and we're after their safety. We don't want them hurt, and that's it.
Right.
Now, if there's anyone who is harboring these girls or no information about these girls, I would really recommend that they call us and let us know. We want to help these girls.
Peter, Alexis, are the police actively involved in a search for them? I mean, do we check out the boyfriend's house? Do we go there? Maybe they midnight mass or something?
Yes. We got everything. We even know we went to a store that they said that they saw one of the girls, and we checked it out to no avail. So they're out there somewhere, and we're going to find them.
All right. Good luck to you, and I'd spend some time with that female guard and find out why she was. I'm sorry. That's dereliction. There's a reason why they are in the facility, and you cannot let them alone in a place where there's an open window that they could crawl out of. I'm not going to say escape if you don't want me to, but Peter, they escaped. They escaped from your facility, and we need to get them caught.
I would just say that we met yesterday with the superintendent. His name is David Feisen, and we spoke with him, and we found other ways that even if the door was closed, we would know when something happened. We found a way to do it without having to put up bars on the windows, which is prohibited.
I got you. All right, 6:56. Listen, I'm going to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Peter. I'll see you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for that suggestion. Well, I'll take care of that this morning.
Yep. Mafia. Yeah. Bye-bye. Somebody got to go. What happened? Okay, you were supposed to watch them, and you let them close the door on you, and 5 minutes later, what movie is this from? It's a movie that this exact scenario is from. It's not going to come back to me in the kind of time that I need it to. All right, what have we got here? Joey Manalo writing me this morning. Supervisory positions need to be filled, so when they're open, you fill with somebody already on staff that can assume those responsibilities. Just do not hire that lower vacant position. Interesting. I think that's Joey's response to my question. Are these vital positions in the government of Guam that we are filling with these staff assistants over at the governor's office? And I was trying to get in my head what it was that I wanted. For those of you that are going to be watching the Republican food stand at the Barrigada voting precinct, I'd like to put my order in now. I want Butzi Butzi and empanada from Chodi's. Thank you very much, Ed and Karen Antalan. The store that I was trying to think of is Chodi. So that's what I would like. If you can get some empanadita, that would be awesome. In fact, you can keep the Butzi Butzi and the empanadas if you can just get me, I don't know, like a couple of pounds of empanadita, the good one with I want it with little tiny diced potatoes inside and raisins and lots of ground beef. Don't rip me off on the meat.
That
right?
sounds good. I've never had one of those.
You never had empanaditas? Mm-mm. Oh, it's the best. It's like hard for me to describe. Somebody bring some to Mike. If you're on the road and if you're someplace, just come around and bang on the back door and we'll come out. We'll need Tabasco and ketchup.
Yes.
You absolutely need Tabasco and ketchup. Although some people have told me they've had good responses with sriracha. Like over at KFC, they got that sriracha chicken.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what they're saying is that stuff works.
I'm kind of on the fence with sriracha, but I like Tabasco. That goes way back into my roots.
All right, what else is some of the other commentary going on? They're not dangerous yet. Give them a few years. They're still learning the system. Oh, you have little faith. No, that's impossible. That's impossible. The idea here is that these are correctional facilities. These are not punitive institutions. All of our systems for dealing with the criminal justice system, once they have gone through the case and the gavel is down and they've been sentenced, they're sent to correctional facilities so that they can go in there, they can do their time, they can get themselves rehabilitated, and then when they come out, they can not be burdens to society. No. Pillars of the community when they come out of these facilities. Brad's also writing that the increase in eggs is a direct result of the politicians not propping up the egg farm that Payless wanted. You know, been looking for my cousin Mike to talk exactly about that. Walkout versus escape, huh? Yeah. Don't trip up on the political correctness there. 888-8255 is my phone number. You can reach me here at The Point using those numbers on your telephone. We'll take a look at traffic a little bit later on. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post coming up after Fox News. That's 20 seconds away right here on KUSG Hagutnya.
Live from New York, The Fox Report.
I'm Rich Dennison. In just under 4 hours, we'll know who President Trump has chosen as his second Supreme Court nominee. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer this afternoon saying the president has outsourced the job of selecting that nominee.
The president has gone to two far out of the mainstream hard-right groups, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, and asked them, not the Senate, to advise and consent on a Supreme Court nomination.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell claiming Democrats won't give the president's nominee a fair shake.
No matter their qualifications, no matter their record, no matter their reputation, it's the same hyperbole, the same accusations, the same old story.
The president will reveal his pick tonight at 9 Eastern. You can hear that announcement on many of these Fox News radio stations. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo rejects criticism by North Korean officials about weekend negotiations. Fox's Benjamin Hall.
North Korea has accused the U.S. of using gangster-like tactics to push it towards nuclear disarmament after a fresh round of high-level talks.
The president today tweeting confidence that leader Kim Jong-un will honor his contract and handshake. He also expressed concern China might be exerting pressure on North Korea over U.S. tariffs. The Trump administration will miss its court-mandated deadline to reunite all immigrant children separated from their parents who cross the nation's southern border illegally.
Clearly, our goal is to get them reunified as soon as they can safely be put back together with their families.
Oregon Republican Congressman Greg Walden visited the detention center today and says the reunification process is complicated. U.S. stock indexes closing higher today. The Dow up 320. You're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter, so all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Hi, this is Kathy, and I'm back in Guam ready to set off the fireworks with our 4th of July sale at Furniture Kathy Style. It's packed with fabulous furniture and prices that will blow your mind. Get 15 to 25% off store-wide or 12 months interest-free with approved credit. Our beautiful lamps are buy one, get one 50% off. Save big on hot deals like our 4-piece Ashley Slade bedroom set, starting at just $4.99. Stop by and see us at Furniture Kathy Style in Hagåtña.
A rebellion brewing over Brexit in Britain.
Britain's Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson and Brexit Secretary David Davis resigning in protest at Prime Minister Theresa May's approach to Britain's upcoming departure from the European Union.
In the 2 years since the referendum, we have had a spirited national debate.
In a rowdy Parliament session, May defending her plans, saying she'll deliver independence from the EU while maintaining a close relationship.
Mr. Speaker, this is the right Brexit.
But the former ministers are Brexit hardliners who say May's plans don't go far enough. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Harvey Weinstein, previously indicted on sexual assault-related charges involving 2 women, was released on continued bail today over new charges stemming from accusations he assaulted a 3rd woman in 2006. Weinstein pleading not guilty today. The new charges include 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison if the 66-year-old former movie mogul is convicted. Twitter now targeting fake accounts.
Twitter removing fake accounts from its platform at a record-breaking pace. According to the Washington Post, 70 million fake and suspicious accounts were suspended in just 2 months, May and June. The company's aggressive approach to removing fake posts is a result of Russia's effort to interfere in the presidential election by posting politically charged messages on Twitter and Facebook. Virginia's Democratic Senator Mark Warner telling the Post that he wishes Twitter had been more proactive sooner. Carly Shimkus, Fox News.
Members of an Alabama church tackled a man who police say tried to pull out a gun while taking over a church pulpit and talking about his pending divorce. 34-year-old Thomas Zebulon Luter is charged with making a terroristic threat following yesterday's incident at the O'Neill Church of Christ in Alabama. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News Radio.
Valley Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Valley Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Valley Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Valley Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together. Apply today for First Hawaiian Bank's United Mileage Plus credit card. And upon approval, you will be entered to win 2 round-trip business class tickets on United. You'll also earn up to 30,000 bonus miles, 5,000 upon opening your new account, and 25,000 after spending $1,500 within 3 months. And you'll get 2 times the mileage on United ticket purchases. Apply by August 31, 2018. Stop by any branch or visit us online at FHB FHB.com. Terms and conditions apply. Sweepstakes starts on July 1, 2018 and ends on August 31, 2018. Open to legal residents of Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands aged 18 years or older. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Visit www.fhb.com/United Sweepstakes for official rules and complete details. Member FDIC.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Speaker Benjamin Cruz introducing 2 new tax increase measures yesterday aimed at bridging the $145 million revenue shortfall he says Gov Guam is facing in the next fiscal year. One bill would increase the hotel occupancy tax from 11 to 15%. The other would raise the business privilege tax to 5.5%. Both would take effect October 1st if they become law. In a release announcing the 2 proposals, the Speaker said he doesn't like either of the bills, but no one can cut their way out of a $145 million shortfall without catastrophic consequences, he said. And if we don't replace some of the revenue we've lost, the Speaker warned we'll lose much more than money on October 1st. At his confirmation hearing last evening at the legislature, Acting Customs Director Eric Palacios spoke about some of the accomplishments during the first 2 months of his term at the agency. That includes the interception of nearly $2 million worth of meth and thousands of dollars worth of marijuana and spice seized by customs officers since his appointment as customs chief. However, lawmakers questioned Palacios about his alleged run-in with customs enforcement agents prior to his appointment when he tried to bring in a set of butterfly knives from the Philippines. Palacios said he was unaware they were prohibited by federal law and denied he ever contacted former Customs Chief James McDonald to get them released. Senators also asked about a 6-year-old allegation of sexual misconduct, which Palacios said was not true. Customs Chief Vince Paris was critical of Palacios' decision to make organizational changes, which he said blindsided him, and the changes were made without seeking his input. However, written testimony submitted by Customs Colonel Philip Tyron praised Palacios for the organizational changes which he wrote have moved the agency forward. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway. Make it what you want.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Senator Michael San Nicolas has written to the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms asking for their assistance in investigating what he calls a potential tax evasion involving mid-pack distributors. In a letter to ATF resident agent in charge, Jeffrey Gaines, the senator cites the June 2017 tax lien placed on Mid-Pac for unpaid GRT taxes totaling $14.7 million. Mid-Pac is a wholesale distributor of alcohol, tobacco, and other products. If the unpaid GRT was on tobacco products, the senator says the tax should have been paid first before the products were released from their warehouse. John Calvo, Mid-Pac president, recently stated in an email to the Guam Daily Post that Mid-Pac is a long-standing, privately owned local company which pays a substantial amount of taxes and is meeting all of its tax obligations to Gov Guam. Senator Frank Uggan Jr. is suggesting that the legislature propose a 6-month budget rather than a budget for the entire year. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday, Cruz, who is in the midst of preparing next year's budget, Senator Uggan said that the adoption of a 6-month spending plan would restrict the expenditure of public funds to critical government services and would give the legislature the opportunity to monitor the overall impact of the Trump tax cuts, and that may help avoid a tax increase, he said. Uggan sent the letter after Speaker Cruz yesterday proposed raising the business privilege tax to 5.5% and increasing the hotel room tax from 11 to 15% to help fill a projected $145 million revenue shortfall in the next fiscal year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
I see that we're going to have hot weather today, partly cloudy and hot with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds out of the east 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs today 89 degrees, but there's going to be heat index today. It's going to feel near 102 degrees. Overnight lows tonight should be about 78, and we'll find the blessed relief of sunset about 6:52. Sunrise tomorrow morning at about the crack of 6 o'clock. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Sometimes a penny saved can lead to much more than a penny earned. With GPA Energy Sense rebate program, the power is yours. Earn money back while saving on your monthly power bill. GPA Energy Sense rebate program will help lower your initial costs when purchasing approved GPA energy efficient appliances and upgrades with monthly savings you can expect. For more Energy Sense saving ideas, visit GuamPowerAuthority.com or like us on Facebook. GPA, bringing energy solutions to you.
Studio time is 7:13. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL. That's short for American President Lines, shipping the future.
We get it. Gas and utility rates keep rising with no end in sight. But with Double Play from GTA, you can get an extra sweet summer deal that'll save you extra cash. Sign up today and get 50 megabits per second with fiber home internet, unlimited talk and text, plus 25 gigabytes of wireless data. And new customers get the first month free with no contract. Save over $500 in the first year and get extra this summer with Double Play from GTA. Conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for more details.
Portions of the program also brought to you by my friends at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yep, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha. It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, egg prices have jumped 37%. Just in time for Easter. This is obviously a kind of a belated article, but it comes up on the World Wide Web when you type in average egg prices. And that's a little bit of a conversation that's been taking place on the online chat on Facebook Live. People talking about the price of eggs, because I mentioned an article in today's Guam Daily Post that says the price of eggs on Guam, in fact, everywhere, going up. Mary Castro says even the eggs that cost you less are expensive. It seems like overnight the price doubled. Donna Blas Cartwright out in the mainland says Gina and Peter were surprised to see cherries here were half the cost compared to what they were out here. Don't get me started on cherries. You go to the grocery store, and if there are so-called fresh cherries there, because you know, you get the ones in the top that you can see, it's good-looking cherries, right? And then you get it like into the middle towards the bottom of them, and it's the mump cherries, it's the Section 8 cherries that you're seeing in there. And so is that the luxury tax that we pay here for living in paradise? I remember shopping with my daughter once, and she snuck a bag of cherries into the thing, and lady totals everything up, and I thought I was going to have to use the good credit card to put everything on because the price had gone up, and I couldn't figure out why until we looked at a pound of cherries. I forget what the number was, but it was ridiculous high. So where we go with that? Gallon of water here, 51 cents, and Joe Servino, who actually has PE at the end of his name, says, yeah, we got expensive water. Like in Saipan, it costs more for the electricity to pump the water. Actually costs more to get the water to your house than what the water is actually worth. So give that some thoughts as you're going by. Some interesting conversations about that kind of thing. And like I said, I wanted to see what the internet was going to say about it. So if you go average egg prices and click where it says news, actually the first thing that pops up is the story in the Guam Daily Post. Second thing that pops up on my browser is how much a dozen eggs cost the year you were born. Sorry, can't resist. Let me just click on that. It's just the financial portion of the program anyway, and this is news that you can use. Really? There's a thing there that tells you how much a dozen eggs were the year you were born?
Man, they were like 2 cents a piece or something when we were born. You could get a dozen for, what, 75 cents? 50 cents maybe?
I'm looking for a thing that will allow me to just pop my my birth year in. And for those of you that are listening, it's 1990.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a look at what the market did, shall we? Market's all in the green. How about that? S&P 500 up by 24 points, 2784. NASDAQ at 7756, up by 67 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is looking real sweet, picked up better than a percentage point here, 24,776. The FTSE at 7687, and the Nikkei at 22,052, up by 264 points. Nice. Shanghai Index up at 2815. Why is that number important? Because everybody's supposed to be freaking out about this trade war that was supposed to have gotten lit off yesterday, but it just doesn't we're not seeing a whole lot of crazy excitement on the market yet. Maybe it'll come, but I don't know. Dow rallies more than 300 points as banks post the best day since late March. Really? It's a good day for the banks? When is my interest rate on a savings account going to go up then? Let's have some of that. Let's interest rates on the loans, we make those lower because this is a good day for the banks. The Dow rallied 300 points. That's what the lady said. Nah, you don't want to do that. Just look, just because it was a good day for banks, you don't want to start watching this kind of too springy and elasticity in interest rates because sometimes the market goes down and sometimes the banks have bad days.
Well, yeah, 10 years ago, a bad day at the bank was getting closed.
Yes, it was. You're absolutely right. And having the charter pulled out from under you. 7:19 in the morning. The other numbers that we like to look at. Take a look at Tampa's crude today, trading at $78.31. It's about where it was yesterday, $74 and a penny for the West Texas crude. That's up by about 21 cents from yesterday's trade. 74 is expensive for West Texas crude, but it's not so high that GPA is going to have to take a look at what they're charging us for electricity that brings water, etc., to the house. 7:20 in the morning, and what shall we do now? Let's go. Oh! Today it's another double play. It's extra Jerry Roberts Day. So we have Jerry Roberts, the extra point that we play here on the radio. And for those of you that are reading the Guam Daily Post religiously, you'll note that Jerry Roberts has his extra Jerry Roberts, extra dose of Jerry Roberts in the editorial section. Today he's talking about redefining the CEO. What's he going to be talking about today on the radio? Let's find out.
Did you ever talk with a coworker and come away with a distinct impression that they think the world revolves around them? How dare they? Especially since you know very well that it revolves around you. I'm Jerry Roberts, and I'm here to set the record straight on that today on The Extra Point. Not long ago, a frontline employee said to herself, "Nobody knows how hard I work. I'm the one who has to greet all the customers, and if something goes wrong, it's always my fault. It's just not fair." Hours after she'd gone home, her supervisor was still at work. He'd missed dinner with his family again. He thought to himself, "Nobody sees what I do. My employees don't know what I sacrifice, and my boss doesn't care. It's just not fair." That weekend, the owner of the company anguished over financial reports to give to the banker who would decide if he'd get another loan in order to keep the business open and everyone employed. He wondered, will the 70-hour work weeks ever stop? My kids have grown up, and I missed it. I may lose everything. Nobody understands how lonely it can be to own a business. It's just not fair. The moral of the story, everybody has challenges and a different perspective, and if you haven't been in their shoes, then you really don't understand. I remember working at a particular frontline job. It was 40 hours of mostly repetitive tasks with little to no positive contact from my supervisor. But I'd sure hear about it if I messed something up. It sure didn't seem fair. I know now that he'd never had any formal management training and didn't really know what to do. What I didn't know until years later is that his manager didn't treat him very well either. So I ended up getting what he was getting from his boss. Many years later, I landed a management position with a growing company. I had a boss with a sarcastic attitude who took great joy in ridiculing me publicly. And he finally fired me because I refused to lie to a client. Highly unfair. Over time, I learned about the extent of family and business issues he was struggling with. It explained a lot, and I felt sorry for him. But nothing compared to owning a business. It can be exhilarating, and it can be soul-draining. Ownership has brought some of the highest highs and lowest lows I've ever experienced. You don't want to burden your employees with your worries, so you suck it up and try to roll with the punches. You often get isolated, and for me that wasn't fun at all. The 70-hour work week I earlier referred to was normal for me. Sometimes I hit 80 hours. Business went on. Payroll had to be met, so you just kept going. I was usually too tired to worry about whether it was fair or not. The takeaway: if you think that life and work is sometimes unfair, you're right. But nobody gets away free, regardless of what we believe. Give the next person a break. You don't know their burdens. The grass may be a whole lot greener where you're standing right now. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in The Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Dude, what a bummer. It's a downer. Where's the feel good, man? Look, I'm a part-time business owner around here. Well, a 70-hour work weeks, those are fine. Those are fine. Because you know what? I love the job is the thing. And my grandfather taught me years ago that you should always do something. If you do something that you love, you'll never, ever work a day in your life. I'm 56 years old. I've been doing this man and boy for 40 years, and in those 40 years, I've never worked, not once. And frankly, it surprises me that people pay me to do this. And maybe as you listen to the program, it surprises you that people pay me to do this.
I've been accused of never trying.
It's 7:24 in the morning. Thanks, Jerry. We'll take a break. Headlines are coming up.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any two toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
Yeah, I will. It's 7:24 in the morning. Is their traffic today? Looking at traffic, it's been ganging up all morning long, but I'm not seeing any areas where there is what I would call slowdowns and congestion. A few more cars on the road than there normally are at this time of day. Marine Corps Drive southbound, making your way into Sumai and then further into Agate. You'll see a lot more cars, but they all seem to be moving at the right speed. In and out of Begonia, no problem. Up and down Marine Corps Drive, lots of cars, but don't seem to be a whole lot of problems with them moving up there, moving slowly. Same thing in Manila between the University of Guam and about that Wendy's area. There's cars, there's traffic, but everybody seems to be going the right speed, and nobody has gotten into an accident and caused any kind of mess ups on the road. So we'll just make this a short report. That's right now traffic on the point. From the home office, and I'm here to help. There was a conversation that we were trying to have with the guys, the Limpialcos and the Benitos about this chicken farm that they wanted to put together. You remember up in where was that, Kev? Up in Chico, was it somewhere?
Yeah.
Where they were trying to do that. So what's the where are we in that particular story? They were looking for something from the legislature.
No idea, but it sounds like it would be a great thing to do, right? Get some low-cost eggs for everybody.
Right. Well, I mean, it didn't sound like they were going to be that much lower than what we're getting in the supermarkets now. It just was that they would be local as opposed to from off island.
Well, wouldn't that make them cheaper if they were local rather than having to ship them in?
I don't think it always works like that. I mean, it's because every once in a while somebody will say, "Hey, Ray, here, drink this local craft beer."
A perfect example.
And it's still more expensive than Budweiser at the gas station.
Yeah,
so,
Kona coffee is not cheaper in Kona.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's a Kona coffee in actual Kona in Hawaii isn't any cheaper than the bag of Starbucks or the bag of Lavazza, right?
Pretty much.
So I don't know if that's the overriding reason why we get into something like this. Oh, because it will be cheaper if we make it here. If you want to guarantee that it's going to be cheaper, my suggestion would be, and I am sorry, I'll say it for you right now. In this case, I'm not from the Home Office. I'm not here to help. This might be the worst advice that somebody in the radio with a license from the FCC is ever going to give you. So I just want to disclaim it here with the idea that I have never ever in my life done this, but I think as the prices go up, oh God help me, this is very, very close to almost lining up with one of Dennis Rodriguez's platforms, right? I know. So one of Dennis's platform items is that if you've got the space available to you in your yard, your home, your apartment, whatever, that maybe you should grow something that you would normally buy in a grocery store. So if you buy a lot of cabbage at the grocery store,
right,
then instead of throwing away the bottom part of the cabbage when you're done, stick it in a dish, and you know what will happen? It'll make a new cabbage, I think.
Replicate.
Right? They do that. You can do that like with green onions. You do that. You put the bulb. You don't eat the bulb. You put the bulb. You eat the green part, and then you put the bulb back in some dirt, and then pretty soon it makes a new onion green part. Right?
Done that with pineapples. That's
yes,
excellent.
Pineapples. I mean, these things.
Of course, it takes them 4 years to grow, but
infinity. Yeah. But so that's what he's saying is if you can do something like this and move the deal from making an imported purchases to something that you're doing here, and then the idea is, I guess, that money would be saved here, and then we'd all feel better about the environment. So again, let me get back to the part about giving away some bad advice. Is that chickens, for the most, you go up to Barragata Heights right now. Go up to Barragata Heights, and if the cats don't attack you, because there's a road up there where the cats and the chickens have ganged up together, they got a whole gang posse going on. Anyway, so if the cats don't attack you just by going up there, see if you can grab a couple of chickens. Now you'll need at least, and I'm not you're from Texas. I assume that you know everything about animal husbandry and farms.
Of course.
Okay, steers and queers, right?
I've seen it happen many times.
The question is, you get a rooster.
Yeah.
We need to have a rooster to make make the hens lay eggs.
Well, they'll lay eggs without the rooster, but you need one so you can have more chickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you can just
absolutely.
get the hens.
Yeah, the hens lay eggs no matter what, but the rooster fertilizes, and that's when you get baby chickens.
Okay, so we
just
need hens.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so just get the prettier chickens up in Barragata Heights.
Exactly.
So you get 2 or 3 of those and put them in your apartment.
See, and that's what I was going to say. You've inspired me because I have a small. It's like 2 by 7.
Yes.
Back porch.
Yes.
I'm gonna grow me a chicken.
Get a couple of chickens, and we'll play so they'll make the eggs, and all you got to do is buy chicken feed, and you feed them leftovers. I think chickens will live off asphalt if there's enough water laying around somewhere, and they'll make eggs. Now, this I have done. Once upon a time, I was doing some work out in the backyard, and I happened upon a nest where the hen laid the eggs. So I grabbed some of the eggs and brought them inside, and we proceeded to cook them.
Yeah.
And the braver among us in the family actually ate them, and they tasted pretty good.
Oh, so you didn't wind up with balut?
No, I didn't. I must have caught them right in time.
Yeah.
But I ate the things, and they tasted pretty good. And so the point that I'm trying to make here is if eggs are getting to be very expensive, it's not as though they're manufactured somewhere by a conglomerate that makes eggs out of plastic and materials. In China, yes, but here on Guam, no, you can go and find hens that will make you eggs that will cost you virtually nothing.
That's right.
Which is why the big question is, how is it possible that something that comes out of the backside of a thing with feathers costs as much as it does? It's 7:31 in the morning. This is the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. Time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Look, it's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio says he took advantage of what he called a teachable moment Saturday night when he lifted the firearm out of the holster of a police officer from behind. It happened after the awards ceremony as the 6th annual Pleasure Island Barbecue Block Party was winding down. Lieutenant Governor said that he noticed one officer's firearm did not appear to be secured. The strap holding it in place, he said, appeared to be loose. Tenorio said he pulled on it and the gun came out easily. He said he immediately returned the weapon to the officer. Tenorio, who's a candidate for governor, said that his concern was public safety. He called it a teachable moment, saying somebody with bad intentions could have turned the weapon on him or anybody else. However, in hindsight, Tenorio said that he probably should have gone around to the officer's front and told him the weapon appeared loose. Lieutenant Governor said alcohol played no role in the incident. He denied that he had had too much to drink, saying absolutely not. University of Guam, Guam Community College, Guam Memorial Hospital, and the Guam Department of Education have been called on to bear the brunt of another $91 million in budget cuts for the next fiscal year. A memo issued last week by the governor's budget office says additional cuts are necessary because the 2% sales tax has been repealed and the revenues expected from it are no longer available. Deputy BBMR Director Lester Carlson telling the Guam Daily Post that he is dismayed by the sales tax repeal. He said the administration has been consistent since February in saying we have to cut operational expenses as well as raise revenues, and nothing has changed, he said. The BBMR circular projects a budget shortfall of $153 million next fiscal year, $8 million more than the $145 million shortfall estimated by Speaker Cruz. As of the end of June, 51,382 voters had registered to vote in the August 25th primary election, which is just 47 days away. The last day to register is 10 days prior to the election. Those who want to register to vote in the primary have until August 15th to do so. You can register at the Guam Election Commission office in the GCIC building in Agana, or you can register with a deputized registration clerk or registrar at your village mayor's office, public high school, or at UOG or the GCC campus. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Studio time and iConnect time at 7:34 in the morning. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and incredible mobile plans.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Some more traffic, shall we? Yeah, more of the same. Things generally moving along nice and smooth on Guam's roadways. You are seeing traffic coming into and out of Route 10 and through Route 10 into the Mangilao and Barragata area, 8, 10, 16. Look very, very clear right now. You might see a little bit of a slowdown getting onto Marine Corps Drive and off Marine Corps Drive, making your way to the AB1 path. Guam International Airport, the intersection on the Ocean Vista side, might see a few more cars than normal there, but traffic seems to be moving moving. About the only place where the traffic gizmo has given me anything that looks like a slowdown is just past Payless Car Rental, making your way from Route 10A to Marine Corps Drive. Can't tell what's going on. I know earlier there was some construction on the other side of the street, and maybe that's got some, I don't know, some telltale dandruff and some traffic delays that are moving through there. But just note that it might take you another traffic light to get through, maybe. 7:36, that's right now traffic happening on the point.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
This is the song that they used in Beat Street Breakdown when they needed to have that street dance to save the community center from the evil guys at the bank. Or was it the tax guys? I can't remember. Hey, it's Tax Hike Tuesday. I wanted it to be Tax Cut Tuesday, but didn't work out that way. Tax Hike Tuesday, as Senator Speaker B.J. Cruz has dropped off at the legislature a couple of measures. One of them that is designed to increase the business privilege tax to 5.5%. And the other one is to increase the hotel occupancy tax from 11 to 15%. And my guess is that the folks over at GHRA are looking for a piece of rebar to bite clean through on the idea that as delicate as things are these days, especially with the Japanese tourism and very cost-conscious Koreans that are coming in here, how cost-conscious are they? They walk everywhere. Have you noticed that? They're not driving one of their own cars. They're walking everywhere. You go up and down Tumon Bay, and you see them going from this. My understanding is this is the way it works. I was talking to somebody who said, no, they're making their way to the TCAT so that they can go back home and catch the flight back home. Although I do have other sources that tell me, no, what they're doing is they stayed in a really, really nice hotel for a day, and so then they leave, and then they're going to stay at a $25 a night place for the rest of the trips, and they won't even take a taxi. How far is it? It's 10 miles uphill. We'll walk. Thanks. Don't need a car. Appreciate it. Unbelievable, tough stuff. But anyway, so my thinking is probably just guys over at GHRA are going to come out and put up some kind of defense, I think, to all of this, because whatever more gets spent someplace that's not in their hotel or restaurant is going to end up being a bad thing for them. And what are we trying to do here? Trying to save 1,500 jobs, I think, is the story. 888-8255. I wanted to get into a little bit of sports talk, if you don't mind, at some point today. We've got the guys that are going off for the Micronesian Games and a whole team. You want to find out who's on the roster? PDN's got AK took out an ad and has everybody's name on page 7 in the PDN. But I also noted another ad floating around for Bubba Nickel. And I don't know what a Bubba Nickel is. My very close personal friend, Patrick Lujan, is on the line. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How's it going?
I'm going good. Did we catch you driving? Are you on the Bluetooth?
No. I'm just in the driveway, not on the
very good.
Highway yet.
Stay right. What is a Bubba Nickel?
It's a Bubba Nichols with an S.
Oh, what is a Bubba Nichols?
Well, she is just one of the best young college softball stars in the United States. And she plays for UCLA and for Team USA. And her mom is actually from here. She was born here. And so GSPN's been covering her career ever since she was the National Player of the Year a couple of years ago in California. And we've been trying to get her out here for a couple of years already. And finally, we're just about to have that happen in August. And
nice.
She's going to be coming out to do a clinic for high school girls, even the adult women who are playing in that current APL fast pitch softball league right now.
Is that big? I mean, I remember years ago that fast and slow pitch girl leagues were like really popular, and then I didn't hear anything about it for a while. And frankly, I think the women's football thing was getting more attention, even the women's soccer thing. So I thought that maybe folks had gotten away from the idea of girls softball.
They did, but as a matter of fact, it's the men who are actually resurrecting the women's softball, the fast pitch. So it's Keith Hattig, Russell Maratita, Benji Penguin, these guys are the ones that are resurrecting that. So we're so happy about that.
Yeah.
And so she's going to come out. She's going to do a clinic at Guerrero Field on August 2nd. And then they're going to have an all-star game for the current league that's going on, and she's actually playing in it. So,
she's going to play it. Now, which team is she going to play for?
She's actually.
This is like a championship game. Hey, who gets to get Bubba Nichols to play on their team?
Yeah, it's an all-star game, so it's an exhibition.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So she'll be playing on both teams. She'll play first half with one team and then jump over to the other team for the second half of the game. So it's going to be really fun.
You know me. I'm not a journalist by trade. I come from the music side, but there's something, and maybe this is an important journalist question, so I'm going to try to answer. How does a girl get a name like Bubba?
Bubba, her real name is Madeline. But she
that doesn't help at all. How did she get a name like Bubba?
She just the history of that, they just started calling her Bubba when she was a little girl, and it just stuck. So she's Bubba Nichols.
I love it.
Amazing story. I mean, she rather had played softball than to go for a high school prom. That type of player. And so dedicated with Team USA. She broke the junior records last year in the World Championships. And it's just to have that type of person to come out and inspire our young girls. Anything to give them hope and aspirations. That's what we're all about.
Well, I'm the same, and you know how it is. Whenever somebody's doing any kind of a clinic, on Guam, I try to get behind it because I'm in favor of that kind of thing. I think anything that we can do as parents and as members of the community to do exactly that, to let our kids know that all of the superstars that they watch and all of the sports that they watch on ESPN and everything, all of these guys started from nothing. They all started from scratch, and maybe they had some God-given ability, maybe they had some God-given talent, but it took coaching and it took work and it took mentors to be able to draw them out, to bring them to the level that they are at today. So whenever we've got somebody that can illustrate that story and maybe even become that mentor, then that's a good thing for all of the kids on Guam, whether they're into softball or not.
Absolutely. And just now our community can ask her, face to face, what does it take to get to that level? Because it's not luck. It's a lot of hard work and dedication, determination. And, if Bubba Nichols can do it, why can't we do it? It's not, you'll see she's not 6'6", playing in the NBA or what have you. She's just a regular girl that grew up in California whose, mom is, her parents is from Guam and Hawaii. So she got island blood in her, and if she can put that dedication in there, why can't anybody else?
Exactly the words that Jason Respicio told me once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just bring up his name because he's watching on the Facebook, so I thought I'd just drop that in. I thought I'd drop that in. Hey, so August the 2nd, do we need to buy tickets in advance, or is that something that I can get more information on at gspn.com?
Yeah, GuamSportsNetwork.com has the information. There's going to be a fee for the clinic, and we've got some great giveaways for those who are going to be participating in the clinic on the 2nd. The All-Star game on Friday night is going to be at 7 o'clock. It's free. Come on out and check it out. We're probably not going to see another softball player like this walk around, in any time soon. So it's a great opportunity for the island. Great opportunity for our softball community.
Right on.
So far, the softball community is all backing this.
So, do you need a play-by-play guy? Because my producer, Michael Knight, the guy with the voice,
yeah,
he loves doing play-by-play. Yeah, so you ought to get with Patrick later on and see if we can do some maybe for the exhibition thing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Him and Colby. I swear to God, I was listening to Mark Colby at the GML the other night, and I thought I was listening to Mike because every once in a while Colby will do one of these. From the bottom, there's the wind up, and there's a pitch. Just absolutely beautiful. Now, we've got one other sports item that I want to talk to you about just real quick, because we got the guys going down to the Micronesian Games. What in particular are you going to be looking out for, and what kind of reporting can we expect from GSPN on that?
GSPN sending over sports director Robert Balahaja and also our photographer Michael Ebio. We've been tracking all the teams, putting out all the previews. We've got 2 more previews to put out before they head on out. They're leaving Saturday. They'll be there for the entire games from the opening ceremony this Sunday all the way to the 27th, I believe. And so we'll have up-to-date results, photos, some videos on our Instagram, our Facebook, and of course the website, GuamSportsNetwork.com. A lot of work. Us too, we had a hard time finding a room just for our guys to stay in.
Yeah, well, I mean, and what about your internet and stuff? I mean, I hate to sound like I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's a Guam privilege thing. But is there internet in Yap?
Yes, there is, and as a matter of fact, we're crossing our fingers to see how well it's going to go, because they had that connectivity from Palau just within the last month or so.
Right. That's kind of a new occurrence from. I think before that everything was on satellite, and then it got split between everybody that had a smartphone or a laptop. I'm interested to see what happens in the athletics category. I know a lot of these people that are going out there, Ben Middlebrook and Ryan Matienzo, and then we got Doris and Desmond as the officials out there. There's a Pack Beer. There's a couple of Tagatis in there, and a Chris and a Miller, and this looks like a strong team going out. They tell me the team that we need to watch is the champion spearfishing guys.
Oh man, we've got a great team going out. The spearfishing guys, they're experienced. They've got a lot of international competition with Ray Flores, Mike Cassidy, those guys. James Borja is the leader. This time he's not participating, but he's the team captain.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of medals going around with the men's basketball. Now it's a Pacific Games qualifier, so they changed their mindset on that to bring in, like, McKelly Wesley's going to be going over. Sevi Sasuiko, so Willie Stinnett. Usually they send the younger kids or the younger players for micro games, but now it's an actual Pacific Games qualifier, which we won the gold medal the last Pacific Games. So we certainly have to send in the big horses, right, and get that gold medal to qualify for the next Pacific Games. So
I got
lots of good things going on, and you're going to see a lot of medals that Guam's going to be winning.
All right, so Mike Cassidy, Ray Flores, Mike Genero, Vince Pangilinan, Jose Villagomez, and Chase Weir.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, some of them are veterans and some of them are new guys, so a good mixture of that team there.
All right, and these guys have seen over at Beach Bar Kiara Rojas, Tatiana Sablan, Ryan Eugenio, and Shintaro Okada on the beach volleyball team. There are other players that are going out there in other activities, but these are guys that I think I know pretty well. Hey, listen, I got to let you go. I got a bigger name on line 3.
All right, my friend.
All right, Patrick Lalonde from GSPN, Guam Sports Network, and you want to follow up on the Bubba. I love that name. Bubba Nichols coming to Guam August the 2nd. It's girls softball. And like I said, my spidey sense was telling me that girls softball had been on the wane, but it looks like it's going through some kind of resurgence around here. And we've got somebody that's going to be coming out for the All-Star game and participating in clinics. 7:49, doing some shopping over at the place last night and ran into Carlotta Leon Guerrero. Good morning, Car.
Hi, Ray. It was so cool running into you, and thanks for giving me your phone number so I could call in and bug you about a worthy call.
Whatever you're calling me about, it's all right. It's funny because the last time, the way the world turns here, just talking to Patrick Lujan about our athletes going down to Yap to participate in the Micronesian Games, and I want to say that one of the last conversations that you and I had was a couple of years ago after Dolphin, when we needed to get goods and supplies to help them rebuild Yap, and in particular, the islands of Ulithi.
Oh, what a great guy you are to remember that. Yes. We're always responding to the outer islands. And it's so funny. I was listening to your interview with your caller just a few minutes ago, and I am getting email, messenger, internet connection from the health assistant on Lamatrack. That is so far away from Ulithi. Lamatrack is over by Satawal, and Satawal is where the navigator Malpialug is from. So I'm not exactly sure how it is. I don't know if it's something Bruce Best set up with solar to battery to hit a satellite. But I'm getting hit internet-wise from Lamitrack.
Isn't that something else? Well, I mean, there's. I'd have to find Bob Kelly. I know that they had put some connectivity down in the islands of at least the two main islands, I think, of Palau. And as the crow flies, Yap is not that far away. But you start stretching a string, and pretty soon you might be able to make all of those very, very interesting connections. You've got, what is the Broken Crayon Project? I'd heard about that from a friend, but I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough to get all of the explains on it. So what exactly is it?
Well, our philosophy is a broken crayon is better than no crayon. And what we do is we take school supplies that kids no longer want to use. They want to get the new stuff when the school starts. And we take them out of the schools, and we encourage parents to clean out the closets and give it to us. And then by the end of July, we send it off to our partner, the Sea Haven, and the Sea Haven takes it out on their annual voyage to these outer islands of Micronesia where there's schools but no stores. So we're asking for any parents or families that have good school supplies left over, notebooks, rulers, things like this. But there's still a chance to get it to us. Mm-hmm. If you call us at 473-3003, we'll come and pick it up. So this is our last push until the end of July. So we're hoping some folks will, clean out their closets and give us some good school supplies.
All right, 473-3003, and that's the Broken Crayon Project. And it doesn't need to necessarily be crayons, but whatever kind of school supplies that you might have that are clean and useful, that you can send down to these folks in the outer islands so that they've got a better shot. As you say, there are schools, but there aren't any stores for them to go to buy all of the goods. And we've got our own back-to-school issues that we deal with around here. But anything that you've got from last year that the kids are going to replace this year, here's an opportunity to help somebody out. So will you do pickups on this stuff as well? If somebody comes out and says, I got 18 kids because there's no cable, and so I got 18 kids and I got a ton of stuff for you to take down.
Yes, if they just give us a call, we'll schedule some young eager beavers that want to do good deeds in the world to run over there and pick up your boxes and backpacks. We've had people give us school uniforms, sports uniforms. So we've had all kinds of interesting items come in. Teachers, when they dismantle their bulletin board, that's always a valuable commodity. So just think of what a teacher would need and what a student would need.
Gotcha.
And we'll take it.
What else you've been working on? While I got you on the, you and I haven't seen each other in quite some time. But what else has been on your agenda these days?
Well, one of the things that we're really excited about, we just wrote a grant, submitted it up to Interior, is we confiscated, are using a 10-acre urban forest that was abandoned. It's called Sagantinanum, and it's next to Island Girl Power. So it's between Derido Middle School and Maria Ujoa and Island Girl Power. So this 10-acre urban forest, so you know where that would put it, right in the heart of Kaiser Derido.
Yes.
Right? So this had been the place that people were throwing their trash, their couches. You can imagine how horrible this got. And we just said enough of it. It's next to us, and we jumped through all the hoops to show that, we could do a better job if we had stewardship. And now we're writing grants, we're creating trails, we're taking out invasive species, we're planting native species, and our goal is to create a nurturing place for people to walk through, mothers to take their kids, and we're hoping that the teachers from the adjoining schools will do science classes there and do projects there. So we're very proud of this project. 10 acres is a lot.
That's kind of huge. That's a lot of space here. That would need a riding mower from the guys over at Home Depot, I'm thinking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let me just see if I can twist that arm here. Yeah, Carlotta Leon Guerrero, Home Depot will make the connection. We'll get that riding mower in there and teach the girls how to get on there and do that kind of thing. And not necessarily just the girls, but it's good for everybody in the community. Wouldn't that be cool if, because every village has something like that, and in some villages there's 2 or 3. Wouldn't it be cool if there were organizations like that in each village to go out there and as you say, take stewardship of what had become an unlicensed dump, clean it up, and turn it into something that can be used by everybody?
Well, that's exactly what happened, and we could tell that all the different government agencies, there's the mayor's offices, everybody was passing it like a hot potato. They were too taxed with other things that they had to do within the village. So there wasn't a big, huge cry of protest when we said, we can do this. Let us give us a chance to do it. So one of our plans in the next year or so is to rehab one of those abandoned houses that's right on the edge and turn that into a nursery. And we want to turn the kids into aphid warriors. I mean, take these kind of species that are hard to grow, that are very important to us, and start growing these seedlings and passing them out to people so that they can plant them in their yards. And, we can help with reforesting the savannas in down south with native plants and seeds. So we've got big plans.
Oh, I love that. You know what? Yoich Rengil from the University of Guam, he and I had that plan once upon a time because he's got these mangoes that are massive. They're, like the size of Eddie Calvo's head. They're that big. And no, I'm serious. They're big mangoes. And so what we do is as you eat them, obviously they're good. Little tiny seeds too, just sliver seeds. Awesome. Is you'd husk them completely and take out the seed inside the seed and put that in some dirt. And so I put a dozen of those things in pots and handed them out to friends. Hopefully they've stuck them in the ground because maybe in another 5 or 6 years they will begin to sprout these massive Eddie Calvo head-sized mangoes.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing to do. I don't know if how the governor feels about us talking about, Eddie Calvo-sized mangoes, but I'm just laughing. He's a friend of mine. Well,
he's my friend too, and that's why I feel I can do it. I'd use BJ's head, but see, he lost all that weight, and it's not as big as it was. But he's finally growing his hair again.
Did you hear that what Governor Calvo is into right now? I think it's just the coolest thing is chicken coop.
I'm sorry, what?
Chickens. He's raising chickens.
No, he's not. I mean, you're joking because you heard me talking about how everybody should be raising chickens to get free eggs.
No, you can. Governor Calvo and his wife are raising chickens on the Calvo compound in Mighty, and I've heard.
See, the eggs are too expensive at Payless, so he's growing his own.
His father told me that one of the joys that Ed has every morning is to go around to the family and deliver fresh eggs, and then visit with his dad or visit with his sister. I'm sure it's a real sweet bonding moment, but. I love that story. I just love that story. That the governor and his wife are raising chickens.
I think you just outed him as a chicken farmer, but I'm sure he's going to appreciate that. Listen, I got to let you run. Thanks so much for the time. If folks want to get, my friend Yvette is online, and she says that's an amazing project. She's the kind of person that might want to get involved in it. If she or Lynn or Kamaka or Gwen wanted to find you to get involved in those kinds of projects, how do they do it? What's your number?
473-3003.
Okay.
And we will come and pick it up. And thank you so much, Ray, for the chance to talk about important things.
That's okay. It was either that or rag on BJ about the tax hikes or rag on Eddie about $70,000 staff assistance. You know how it is.
Yeah.
I'll take a break from that for a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
I'll see you, babe. It's 7:59 and change. Carlotta Leon Guerrero. Again, the number is 473-3003 if you want to get a hold of her. Volunteer. And I tell you, volunteer, be ready to work. And I know this from personal experience. If you are volunteering, she will put you to work. Bring gloves and clothes you don't mind sweating in. It's 8 o'clock in the morning or darn close to it. The radio station is KUSG. Agatna. My name is Ray Gibson. Fox News Live is coming up next. On the other side of that, Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all of today's big headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Stick around, bro.
hours away. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The countdown is on to find out who President Trump has chosen for the next Supreme Court justice.
We do know that the president's made his decision. What we don't know at this point is who the president has chosen, but we're told that it is among the following four people. Judge Thomas Hardiman of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, Judge Brett Kavanaugh of the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, Raymond Ketledge from the Sixth Circuit, or Amy Coney Barrett from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House, and Fox News has learned 3 Senate Democrats up for re-election in November were invited to the White House tonight for the announcement, but Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Donnelly, and Joe Manchin all declined. All 3 of them voted to confirm Justice Neil Gorsuch last year. You can hear the president's announcement at 9 p.m. Eastern on many of these Fox radio stations. The administration not expected to meet the deadline to reunite many immigrant families separated at the border. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Lisa, more than 50 kids will be reunited, according to the Justice Department, and then the families will be released. But they are not able to reunite the rest of the 102 kids under the age of 5. The judge wants to hear more information about the plan for them in court tomorrow. Some parents have already been released. Others have been deported. Oregon Congressman Greg Walden spoke from a shelter in Texas after visiting some of the older children.
Our concern is to make sure that these young kids get reunified with family members as soon as possible.
Health and Human Services said they're doing DNA testing to ensure families are properly matched. Lisa.
Jessica, British Prime Minister Theresa May has named Jeremy Hunt to become Foreign Secretary after the resignation of Boris Johnson. On Wall Street, stocks posted solid gains as traders look ahead on what many expect to be strong second quarter earnings from U.S. companies. The Dow rose 320, the Nasdaq up 67, the S&P added 24. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
The rescue mission set to restart in a few hours in Thailand to save 12 boys and their soccer coach trapped in a flooded cave. So far, 8 boys have been extracted.
Another nervous day, but the ambulance is bringing the boys safely away from the caves, with the first sign that Phase 2 was mission accomplished. Nearby, helicopters on standby to ferry the children to hospital in Chiang Rai. Umbrellas used as screens for privacy. Then shuttled by road, which had been closed by the authorities, to join the 4 boys rescued yesterday for tests and medical treatment.
Sky News reporter Alex Rossi. YouTube says it's taking steps to ensure accuracy of news on its service by cracking down on misinformation and supporting news organizations, saying it will make what it calls authoritative news sources more prominent, especially during breaking news. Wonder Woman, or at least the actress who plays her, makes a surprise visit to a children's hospital in Virginia.
Some days are just wonderful. This the sentiment for caregivers and patients at Inova Children's Hospital in Falls Church, Virginia, when Wonder Woman stopped by. Photos shared on social media show actress Gal Gadot surprising folks, posing for pictures, and cuddling a young patient in costume. The hospital tweeting it was honored to have the real-life superhero come by. One doctor taking to Twitter to call the star a true Wonder Woman, saying the kids loved it, and so did the staff. Gadot has been in the Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia area filming Wonder Woman 1984, which hits theaters November 1st, 2019. I'm Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The third child of Britain's Prince William and wife Kate has been christened at a royal chapel. The service for Prince Louis took place today at the Chapel Royal at St. James Palace. Louis was born in April. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Apply today for First Hawaiian Bank's United Mileage Plus credit card. And upon approval, you will be entered to win 2 round-trip business class tickets on United. You'll also earn up to 30,000 bonus miles, 5,000 upon opening your new account, and 25,000 after spending $1,500 within 3 months. And you'll get 2 times the mileage on United ticket purchases. Apply by August 31, 2018. Stop by any branch or visit us online at FHB.com. Terms and conditions apply. Sweepstakes starts on July 1, 2018 and ends on August 31, 2018. Open to legal residents of Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands aged 18 years or older. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Visit www.fhb.com/United Sweepstakes for official rules and complete details. Member FDIC.
Morico Equipment on Epau Road is expanding. Morico now requires heavy equipment diesel service technicians to join their highly qualified service team. In this role, you'll be responsible for all types of repairs and maintenance of transport trucks, heavy-duty off-road equipment, diesel generators, trailers, and buses. They're seeking specialist mechanics with previous training and experience as diesel or heavy equipment mechanics or diesel generator technicians. Morico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. Find out more on their website at moricoequipment.com.
We get it. Gas and utility rates keep rising with no end in sight. But with Double Play from GTA, you can get an extra sweet summer deal that'll save you extra cash. Sign up today and get 50 megabits per second with fiber home internet, unlimited talk and text, plus 25 gigabytes of wireless data. And new customers get the first month free with no contract. Save over $500 in the first year and get extra this summer with Double Play from GTA. Conditions apply. Visit gta.net for more details.
Half a day and good morning, Guam News Time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan, and here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Speaker Benjamin Cruz introducing 2 new tax bills yesterday aimed at bridging the $145 million revenue shortfall he says GovGuam is facing in the next fiscal year. One bill would increase the hotel occupancy tax from 11 to 15%. The other would raise the business privilege tax to 5.5%. Both would take effect October 1st at the start of the new fiscal year if they become law. In a release announcing the 2 tax measures yesterday, the Speaker said he doesn't like either of them, but no one can cut their way out of a $145 million shortfall without catastrophic consequences. If we don't replace some of the revenue we've lost, said the Speaker, we'll lose much more than money on October 1st. UOG, GCC, GMH, and Guam DOE have been called on to bear the brunt of another $91 million in budget cuts. A memo issued last week by the governor's budget office says additional cuts are necessary because the 2% sales tax has been repealed and the revenues expected from it are no longer available. Deputy BBMR Director Lester Carlson telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he's dismayed by the sales tax repeal. He said the administration has been consistent since February in saying we have to cut operational expenses and raise revenues, and nothing has changed, he said. The BBMR circular projects a budget shortfall of $153 million next fiscal year. That's $8 million more than the $145 million estimated by Speaker Benjamin Cruz. We'll have more news after this.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chili's Rib Fest is back. You can get saucy with their fall-off-the-bone, slow-smoked half-rack of ribs for $10.99. Available in original, roasted garlic, or honey chipotle flavors. Served with home-style fries. Add an additional half-rack of ribs for just $7. Low and slow is the key to more flavor. Chili's Rib Fest for $10.99. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. At his confirmation hearing last night at the legislature, Acting Customs Director Eric Palacios spoke about some of the accomplishments during the first 2 months of his term at the agency. That includes the interception of nearly $2 million worth of meth and thousands of dollars worth of marijuana and spice seized by his officers since his appointment as Customs Chief. However, lawmakers are questioning Palacios about his run-in with customs enforcement agents prior to his appointment when he tried to bring in a set of butterfly knives from the Philippines. Palacios said he was unaware they were prohibited by federal law and denied he ever contacted the former customs chief to get those knives back. Senators also asked about a 6-year-old allegation of sexual misconduct, which Palacios said was untrue. Customs Chief Vince Perez was critical of Palacios' decision to make organizational changes, which he said blindsided him, and the changes were made without seeking his input. However, written testimony submitted by Customs Colonel Philip Tyron praised Palacios for the organizational changes which he wrote have moved the agency forward. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio says he took advantage of what he called a teachable moment Saturday night when he lifted the firearm out of the holster of a police officer from behind. Tenorio said it was around 10 at night after the awards ceremony at the 6th Annual Pleasure Island Barbecue Block Party when he approached some officers to say goodnight. He said he noticed one officer's firearm did not appear to be secured. The strap holding it in place, said Tenorio, appeared to be loose. Lieutenant Governor said it looked odd, so he pulled on it and the gun came out easily. He said he immediately returned the weapon to the officer. Tenorio, a candidate for governor, said that his concern was public safety. He said there were a lot of people there and somebody with bad intentions could have turned the weapon on him or anybody else. It really was a teachable moment, said Tenorio, who pointed out that he is a former police officer who served as an instructor at the police academy. In hindsight, however, the lieutenant governor said he probably should have gone around to the officer's front and told him that the weapon appeared loose. Tenorio said alcohol played no role in the incident. He denied that he had had too much to drink, saying absolutely not. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Right now with some weather.
Could you hear Mike laughing through the glass?
No.
No, you couldn't? Okay.
I didn't say anything, Bunny.
Of
course not.
Hey. Partly cloudy today. Hot. Isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds east up to about 15 miles an hour. Expected highs about 89 degrees. Max afternoon heat index is going to feel like, guys, going to feel like 102 degrees. Overnight lows tonight about 78 degrees after sunset, which should be about 6:52. Sunrise this morning was at 6 o'clock, shooting for about the same thing tomorrow. If you stand by one, I'm going to see if I can call up a brand new radar fix. I noticed when I was looking at the radar at 6, it was not necessarily in what do you call it, loop mode here.
No.
And
yeah, you got to.
you'll
You'll have to click the loop, but there's not much to loop really. Everything's pretty quiet out there right now. So things building up towards a wetter look at things as we end the week. But right now, today should be okay. Just really hot. So be ready for that.
Okay. Well, let me then call up the loop for the satellite image and see if there's anything out there to look at.
Okay.
I had it a second ago. I wanted to refresh it to get the last hour's fix.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, and we do have a weak tropical disturbance, 92W. That's down to our southeast. But it's moving into a rather hostile area for development. And this goes back to, I was talking earlier about how we also have an upper level system coming in. And these two are going to team up to bring us some more rain and a better chance of thunderstorms.
Yeah.
But
so I couldn't find the satellite image.
Okay.
So I took
but that upper level, though, actually will keep this thing from developing.
Yeah, so I put the picture of the guy with the snake up on.
That's nice.
Well, it's equally scary as a storm.
Well, without the rain.
I mean, look at the size of that snake. I mean, just, if you haven't seen it, I'll send it. I'll see if I can post it up someplace where everybody can see it. But there's a guy in front of a building, and I can't make out which building it is, but he's holding this massive snake. It is taller than he is, for sure.
Why don't we go ahead and start like a snake skin industry? We can make belts, wallets. boots?
People have had the conversation before, and I guess it's something that I don't know. I mean, there might be something to it, a skill in particular that we don't have, or chemicals that we don't have access to.
Yeah, coming from where Blake and I come from in Texas, I mean, you can get rattlesnake skin belts and wallets, and snakeskin's a perfect tool to use, like leather.
And I'll tell you what, the brown tree snake stuff, I mean, once they're dead, I mean, you see them on the road, and they just turn into these little flat, crispy critters, and they'll stay there forever.
Yeah.
It's not like they go away anytime soon.
Well, and after you skin them, you can fry them up.
I have, that I know of, I've never eaten brown tree snake. It's 8:15. It's the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. And we got, what have I got? We've already done the weather, right? Okay, so all I got to do is throw to the break. We'll be right back.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
No, I'm just grossed out about the idea of eating brown tree snake. I mean, I'm not seeing it. Randy says snakeskin boots are great. I hear the snake and boot, and I'm back to watching the movie again. There's a snake in my boot, right? Sorry, there's other conversation about teachable moments going on. 8:16. Try to use the phrase "teachable moment" in your as much as you possibly can. Portions of the program. I got to get around to this. Brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
More than 40 local companies have partnered with Take Care to bring you some of the best deals across the island through the Take Care Affinity Rewards program. From Spa Bali, Guam Reef and Gabriel's Restaurant to Tango Theaters, Dolce Frutti, and many more. Take Care members can simply present their membership cards at our partner locations to receive a special offer or discount. For a complete listing of Take Care's affinity partners and deals, visit TakeCareAsia.com or check out our Take Care app for all the latest updates.
When you absolutely need to be positive that you own the property that you think you just bought, that's where you call the people at Security Title.
Sometimes a penny saved can lead to much more than a penny earned. With GPA Energy Sense rebate program, the power is yours. Earn money back while saving on your monthly power bill. GPA Energy Sense rebate program will help lower your initial costs when purchasing approved GPA energy efficient appliances and upgrades with monthly savings you can expect. For more Energy Sense saving ideas, visit GuamPowerAuthority.com or like us on Facebook. GPA, bringing energy solutions to you.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Well, most of it matters, and there is a great opportunity, as my adept producer Michael Knight points out, for us not to curse the darkness. But wait, do we have any Bible music in there? Do we have Bible music? We don't curse the darkness. We light a candle. How you doing? Nothing?
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
Not that. Oh,
you can catch a snake with that, though.
Hey, heavenly music one. Let me say it again. We don't curse the darkness. We light a candle. And yeah, we got brown tree snakes here that are bigger than most average Filipinos, but still, because that's the guy in the picture. It's not a race thing. But still in all, end of the day, what do we do with them? Is there some kind of economy that we can get into? Ken Leon Guerrero recognizes an opportunity when he sees one. Good morning, Kenneth.
Do you remember the Lone Star Cafe in Kahaluu back in the 80s?
I lived here in the 80s. I don't remember that place.
Oh, okay. Well, back in the 80s, there was a place overlooking the ocean, Lone Star Cafe, and they put rattlesnake on their menu. They had rattlesnake sandwiches, and if you ate the entire sandwich, you got a free dessert and a free drink of your choice. That was the promo they were putting in to introduce Hawaii to rattlesnake.
It's easy.
And so, oddly enough, it does taste like chicken.
Uh-huh.
Charcoal grilled. It's very delicious, very good. And they stopped the promotion after a week. And I So some friends of mine came back up and say, "What happened to the promotion?" He says, "They were killing us on the drinks and the desserts."
Because I see what you're saying. Because everybody, I could do that. That's no problem. I think for me, I don't know. There's just something that is akin. With a rattlesnake, I suppose I don't know that I'd have a problem. A boa constrictor, but there's
if
something.
they pulled it off the grill, you wouldn't know.
But but there's something that's it's vermin. I mean, we're talking about a brown tree snake. There's something
it's
verminy
a reptile.
about it.
It's got it. Actually, the meat it's a clean meat. It's a clean, very just discreet meat. It's like chicken. It has you can make it taste whatever you want to taste it. You know. So
I'll make a deal.
Look, man, we can catch those snakes. We can make boots and shoes and wallets and tell the tourists that it's a delicacy.
Yeah,
I'll make you a deal. And I wouldn't even know how to pursue this. I wouldn't even know. I do, but I'm lazy. so I'm going to say I don't.
I have my doubts.
I'll eat one. I'll eat some if you eat some.
I'll eat some. I'm fine.
I've eaten some before, so I'll do it
how
again.
many people we could put back to work at $5 a snake.
A few times.
Brent Tibbetts brought me. I think he brought me. What was he? He brought me shark meat once.
Shark fin soup.
No. It was it was the fish. The shark was dead already. So it's not like they could fix it and stick it back in the water or something like that. So what the heck? Let's eat it. And so I remember he made me some, and I thought that was pretty good. So I'm down with trying something different. I will eat some if you and Blake will eat some. I'm not going to ask Kevin.
I will. I'll eat some. I've eaten some before. I've eaten.
I don't want to see this guy. The guy made me eat. Well, how was your day at work today, Kevin? When you were working over at the radio station, well, they made me eat snake. Thanks very much for asking. Thank you. I really appreciate this and this assignment. Do the morning show with Ray. So what do
the little Chianti and?
Are you there? I'm sorry. Are you still there, Ken?
Yeah, well prepared. You won't know. I mean, I've actually bought the snake sandwiches and took them down to friends of mine at the yacht club and handed them out, and they thought they were eating chicken.
I'm never taking anything. Note to self: if Ken ever walks in and says he's got sandwiches for us, double check and let's make sure it is. Booney Dog says if you Kelligwin it, it's all good, and I'm going to back you up on that one. I'm sure that would be fine. Stick it in some white Kelligwin. We get the salt and the pepper and the garlic and little slabs of. I think we'll be okay.
Friends of mine who I had a hard time with was Spam Kelligwin.
Oh, Spam Kelligwin.
I can eat that. I can eat that stuff all day. All right. Well, tell you what, you're the guy with the industrial mind. So you put the plan together. Find some snake, fricassee it up, or Kelligwin it up, and then bring it by the radio station. And Mike will eat it. And if Mike eats it, then I'll eat it. All right.
Well,
that was kind of the agreement.
Worth looking into.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you pretty soon. This in and of itself, this could save the government of Guam. This forget about your tax increases. Forget about your hotel occupancy tax increases. It's an industry, and we'll do qualifying certificates, and we'll sell the heck out of it, right?
Kona has its coffee. We have brown tree snake delicacies.
And Finnadenning.
It's 8:23 in the morning. My name is Ray Gibson. Guess what? It's time for Sports with Blake. Had to get away from that conversation for just a second. It's 8:23. What do you got? Did I tell you I talked with Pat Lujan about Bubba Nichols?
No, she's coming. I know that.
Yes, August the 2nd. August the 2nd. All the details are at gspn.com, and you can hang out over there, and there will be exhibitions, and there will be clinics for the young ladies and all of that stuff.
I met her the first time she came through here, I believe, a couple years ago. Maybe.
Did you ask her how she got a name Bubba?
No, I'm
scared.
Because I've learned.
Is she big?
No, she's not. The thing is, coming from Texas, this is not talking about snakes, but coming from Texas, everybody's Bubba. So I'm just kind of used to it.
It's the idea that you would call a girl Bubba.
Yeah, I've met him.
But some of the girls in Texas that you call Bubba, they chew tobacco too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's sexy.
They eat rattlesnake and chew tobacco.
That's sexy in a weird website sort of way. Okay.
So we do have this, let's see here. We do have, I've been talking to Regine Tagati as she told me that they are headed out today is the track and
two Tagattis going out.
Yes, and I'm going to get to that. So 17 track and field athletes are on their way to Yap as of today sometime, as they will be competing in the Micronesian Games, 9th annual, from the 15th until the 27th is when it's going down. And just like Ray said, it's very special for Regine herself because she will be joining her younger sister, Rochelle. As they run together. Joining the Tagati sisters will be, let's see here, you got Shania Balala, who was a former Shea Scholar athlete, and then there's also another pair of siblings going with Janina and Zachary Chris, also racing in the middle and long distance events. And Regine, if you remember, she represented Guam in Rio back in 2016, and her teammate from that team, Josh Ilestre, also going on this trip. So the Guam track and field team is stacked, and they're looking to bring home some pretty colorful hardware from Yap as they head off for the Micronesia Games. Elsewhere, the Guam's under-11 All-Stars, Ray, they're gearing up to head off island as more Little League play continues. They're going to Bakersfield to play in the Cal Ripken Babe Ruth U11 baseball tournament. Things kick off July 16th, runs through the 21st, and they will be playing for a spot in the Little League World Series as well. So they got manager Rocky Alcantara going with them. So shout out to that team and good luck to them.
I thought we were out of the running for all of the stuff for the Little League World Series.
I believe this is a different league.
Oh,
Cal Ripken Babe Ruth League instead of the official Little League, name brand that it is. Because there's Babe Warner. I mean, there's a Babe Warner. I was thinking Pop Warner, but yeah. There's a Babe Ruth Cal Ripken League. There's actual Little League, and then there's the Pony League, which uses like Pony, Bronco, and other
How are we
horses.
supposed to remember all this?
I don't even know how I remember all this. If I didn't play Little League, I probably wouldn't know the difference between all of them. But but there are different leagues as far as Little League goes.
Do they set up these different leagues for the same way that we do here? Because like around here, you'll notice that there's like 2 or 3 different soccers or 2 or 3 different volleyballs and whatever. And normally it's because the one guy couldn't stand the other guy, so he made his own league.
Right. Or
is it the same?
Kind of, and also
level?
And when it goes to the national level and to Little League, the difference between the actual Little League and like the Cal Ripken Babe Ruth League will just be rules. There may be a couple different rules here that one coach and system. They want to kind of adopt one system while another coach wants to adopt another, so they play in their respective leagues based on like maybe one league has a DH.
There used to only be one party in the United States, and now we've got the Democrats and the Republicans for exactly the same reason. There's the one guys that couldn't stand the other guys, and they said, okay, we're still going to be Americans, but we're going to be different.
It's really funny that us versus them mentality. I saw an interesting thing on Barstool Sports or something on Instagram yesterday, where no joke, it was I think it was a Cincinnati's Reds, right? And so they're all from Cincinnati. They're all cheering on the Reds. But they got bored during the 7th inning stretch, and so right field started yelling, left field sucks, and left field started yelling, right field sucks. All the people in the stands, so they just were yelling back and forth to each other. Instead of doing the wave, they were just, right field sucks, left field sucks. So I don't know what it is. If there's one side, there's got to be an opposing side for some reason.
And because it is. It's,
that's just how it is.
Ask people that are left-handed, right?
Yep.
Who do we hate? People that are right-handed. We hate those guys. But what we really hate is the ambidextrous ones. We really hate those guys.
What greedy people. They think they could do both.
Yeah, what's the matter with them? They don't have to live in a world where they got ink in their hand all the time, and they got to use special scissors and special gloves, all of that kind of thing. All right, I'm looking to see if there's any interesting stories out that are floating around in the world. The most common reason, this is important for guys like us that are awake at 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when we have to start thinking about going to work. The most common reason we nap, new survey finds the #1 reason people take naps is because we're tired. That's why we take naps. We're tired. #1, seriously, it's most people were up late the night before and they're tired, so they need an opportunity to get caught up, and just a few Z's in the day will work out. Second most popular reason for taking naps is also obvious, and that's if you're not feeling good. Sometimes it's beneficial to just go lay down someplace and take a nap. At Home Depot. Right? Oh, Furniture by Kathy, where they keep the beds.
Right.
Great place. Great place for it. And we were talking the other day about that siesta.
I found it is right behind Designer's Direct that you're talking about.
So did you go?
There's a big pink sign, or a big pink building painted that says Siesta Cafe.
I never noticed. Has it been there all this time? I never noticed it.
The building, maybe. But maybe it was painted something different, so that's why we didn't notice it. But I did saw that there was 24 hours, so you can just show up anytime and take a nap. If you're on break, maybe work third shift, you're on break, just go down there. you take a nap. But make sure you get woken up.
Can you bring a cuddle partner?
I don't know.
You
I don't
didn't
know
ask.
if it's co-ed. I didn't see it there.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay,
Their
when,
post on social
when
media.
I ask you a question like that, don't answer like that. No, never use that voice when I'm asking about it. Did you hear him?
I did, but I have a question.
There's a little Frisco in there.
If you take a nap at night, is it actually a nap anymore, or is it actual sleep?
Because I would say it's sleep.
Yeah.
Me and my cuddle partner are gonna go in there. We're gonna have a nap.
But if you,
I like the air quote.
but it's I know. But
Do
if
they,
it's
do
all
they charge hotel room rates? I wonder?
by the hour,
Oh, by the hour?
I don't know if they charge by the hour.
See, well, that means it's
charged
an
by the
interesting
event.
question. If the place is
man.
open 24 hours a day as a siesta spot, if it's open at night, and what's the difference between taking a nap and going to sleep?
I think your schedule. Like if you work third shift, when you wake up at 7 at night, maybe your nap time, which would be mid-morning to you, it's really midnight, but maybe because I don't know. It's all relative, right? It's kind of like us.
12:30 every day. Gotta be in the snack. Gotta be
I needed
on the
different
couch.
music for this conversation.
Only because I found myself with this schedule, with this morning show schedule, I found myself like really getting hungry and like wanting to eat dinner by like 4:30 and 5 and 5. And then because I want to be winding down by 7:30 or an 8.
Which is a point that I will make here on the radio. I don't know that I've ever actually reached out this way and pushed through the fourth wall of the broadcast, but just for the people that are listening that might see Blake or I or Mike or Kevin someplace like at a bar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon having a couple of beers. Let me just make this point here. That's like 7 o'clock to you.
That's our
right?
happy hour.
That's the welcome to Morning Guy happy hour. And sometimes it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while it'll be 3:30 in the afternoon somewhere, and it's not just us. It's not just, hey, look, there's the guys from Hit Radio. Look, over there. There's somebody from another one of the. Hey,
I'm surprised you wait until 3.
Some of us start at lunch.
Sometimes you have to wait until the place opens.
That's true.
I started
It's
10
true.
minutes ago.
It's 8:31 in the morning, and if you're in there as well, then buy us around here. That keeps us all entertained and lubricated for outstanding morning shows for the next day. Listen, I gotta let you run. Okay. We're all done with sports headlines with Kevin Kerrigan, brought to you by Furniture by Kathy. Kathy, what's the name of the place?
Furniture Kathy Style.
Kathy Style is the name of it. I should write these things down, right? There should be like a script or something. Is sponsoring the 8:30 news. That's coming up next.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
We're not normally timid people. I think the four of us, we all know the place is there, but none of us have gotten the temerity to get up and actually park the car and walk inside and say, okay, yeah, I'd like to take a nap. Tell me about the service. What is it? Is it pods? Is it like a karaoke bar where you can close the door? I was in one of those in, what planet was I on? Not Narita. What's the other end city that you fly into where on United?
Nagoya?
Yeah, Nagoya. It's okay. I was in Nagoya, and at the airport in Nagoya, they have a tube hotel where, if you've got like a long layover, and in this case I did. My layover was like 7 hours, and I didn't want to just walk around and meander around the airport for 7 hours. And there is a place where you can go in and you take your luggage, and it wasn't expensive. It was fairly inexpensive. It was like $25, $30 or something like that after the exchange. And you go in, and there's shower facilities. And then there's this little tube that you lay down in, and it has everything that you need. It's got fast internet, so you can watch whatever's on your screens, and it's got air conditioning, a little radio, and very, very comfortable, as a matter of fact. I managed to take a good nap and kill a few hours trying to get between Okinawa and Guam once upon a time. It's 8:34 in the morning, and headlines brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam, and the headlines from the Daily Post this morning. Senator Michael San Nicolas has written to the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms asking for their assistance in investigating what he calls a potential tax evasion involving mid-pack distributors. In a letter to ATF resident agent in charge Jeffrey Gines, the senator cites the June 2017 tax lien placed on mid-pack for unpaid GRT taxes totaling $14.7 million. Mid-pack is a wholesale distributor of alcohol, tobacco, and other products. If the unpaid GRT was on tobacco products, the senator says the tax should have been paid first before the products were released from the warehouse. John Calvo, Mid-Pack president, recently told the Post in an email that Mid-Pack is meeting all of its tax obligations to the government of Guam. Senator Frank Huggen Jr. suggesting that the legislature propose a 6-month budget rather than a budget for the entire year. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday, Huggen said that the adoption of a 6-month spending plan would restrict the expenditure of public funds to critical government services and give the legislature the opportunity to monitor the overall impact of the Trump tax cuts, and that may help avoid a tax increase. Huggen sent the letter after Speaker Cruz yesterday proposed raising the business privilege tax and increasing the hotel room tax to help fill a projected $145 million revenue shortfall in the next fiscal year. As of the end of June, 51,382 voters had registered to cast ballots in the August 25th primary election, just 47 days away now. The last day to register is 10 days prior to the election. Those who want to register to vote in the primary have until August 15th to do so. You can register at the Guam Election Commission office in the GCIC building in Agana, or you can register with a deputized registration clerk or registrar at your village mayor's office. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 8:36 in the morning. iConnect time is 8:36. They want you to connect longer for less with their incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans. The preceding news brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style.
Hi, this is Kathy, and I'm back in Guam ready to set off the fireworks with our 4th of July sale at Furniture Kathy Style. It's packed with fabulous furniture and prices that will blow your mind. Get 15 to 25% off store-wide or 12 months interest-free with approved credit. Our beautiful lamps are buy one, get one 50% off. Save big on hot deals like our 4-piece Ashley Slade bedroom set, starting at just $4.99. Stop by and see us at Furniture Kathy Style in Hagåtña.
Nothing serious happening on Guam's roadways. Well, maybe in just a second when Kevin Kerrigan gets on, maybe that will be the one car that gets into the streets here that just saturates everything and it just crystallizes and seals your fate in terms of traffic. Doesn't look like it now, though. Looks like the only place where you might see anything like a slowdown is coming out of Tidsin and then turning towards Route 10A to get to Marine Corps Drive, where there is a little bit of a slowdown getting from 10A to Marine Corps Drive. You'll see a lot of traffic up and down in the usual spots here. Route 14, Marine Corps Drive north and south, into and out of Tumon. What have we got? Anything happening by intersection of 1 and 3? Actually, no. There's a lot of cars, but they seem to be moving. A little bit of a slowdown coming out of 27 Alpha by the new, what is it called? Farmers Market here. Because I was talking about in Penedita, and everybody's going to get parts for it. 8:38 in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yep, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha.
Woo! Sriracha!
It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
On the Facebook Live this morning, great ideas. Joey Charper says, casino now. Start the discussion. I don't know if we can. I think there's a law that prevents us from even sticking it up on the referendum deal. Denise Legaspi says, legalize recreational marijuana and gambling, bringing some great revenue. Hey, it's going to be tricky, kids. It's going to be tricky coming out here. Maybe the best idea that we've got for revenue enhancement without going through the legislature, without a 5% increase or a 0.5% increase in the business privilege tax, without an increase in the hotel occupancy taxes, which I seriously have to caution against. I think we are still in a very, very delicate time for tourism. We've got the very, very spendthrift Koreans that are making up the majority of the market right now. And the last thing we need is anything else that will scare away the Japanese or scare the Japanese deeper into the arms, the bosom, if you will, of the Hawaiian hospitality industry. You realize for many of them, it's cheaper to go there than it is to come here. And so we're going to add another 4% on the hotel occupancy tax on top of that, even. I don't think it's a good idea, kids. Maybe we got to work in another direction. That does not mean that I'm turning a blind eye to the issues in the government of Guam, and recognize that if we can't come up with a budget, it looks like it's going to be a tougher time for the guys in the Department of Education, if for no other reason because they've got the lion's share of the budget year after year after year, and that means if we've got to take some big bites out, they're going to have to suffer the biggest bites of them all. 20 away from the top of the hour, my very close, very dear personal friend Mark Mendiola is on the line. Good morning, Marky.
Good morning. Good morning.
So between you and John, how much of your recovery plan, or how much of the conversation that you think you need to have with B.J. Cruz and the members of the legislature over the next few days will be new, or how much of it is going to be information that you had brought to them in public hearings and budget hearings in the past?
Well, you know, Ray, with this fiscal numbers that we're getting, a lot of it's going to be operational. Of course, it's all operational. So, you know, we asked the superintendent and his team to look at the numbers, give us some proposal as to how, we're going to make ends meet. Of course, you know, the department has been very proactive in terms of managing its resources.
Yeah.
And, when we got these figures and these numbers and the rollback on taxes, it was kind of tough for us because we had that discussion in the middle of towards the closing of our school year. And so now that we're in the summer breaks, of course, there's a lot of things. We have a school readiness preparedness plan that we're implementing, to accept our kids in the next, things like 40 days out before the new school year starts. And so, we're having to deal with this budget crisis. And so,
how fast? I get the idea that you guys are already in the conversation, and it's the 10th of July here pretty soon, and you can see from here, literally in a handful of weeks, the start of the school year. But what would it take in a hurry in order for you guys to very quickly re-ramp on a new opening date for the school year and basically start a new school calendar?
That's one of the things we sent back to the superintendent, when we had that 2% sales tax, that transition that was supposed to occur.
Yeah.
A lot of those things at the time, that was the reality of the time where, those things were on the table. And so those things right now, we wanted to give the superintendent an opportunity for him and his team to meet, to present to us. We're actually meeting this week. We have two special meetings, one to deal with our Head Start Federal program grant, and then we have another one that will be on Friday, and that's where we're hoping to get some, points in terms of where we need to be in terms of the budget. And so when the superintendent presents that, I'm pretty sure we're going to, as a board, wrap ourselves around that whole entire issue. I do know that, the 14 points is a big one for us. Safety, curriculum, and facilities are the three priorities of our board.
Yep.
We meet, at our board retreats, and we hash out focuses that the board wants to move forward. But, with the limited resources that we're anticipating, we've also presented some opportunities for the department to get some revenue generation ideas to the legislature. So, we have to leave it into the wisdom of the legislature and figure this one out quick. Because
well, because people got to make decisions here. There's a lot of moving parts here. You got to get with Glenn Leon Guerrero at DPW and make sure that they would be prepared. I mean, if we're not going to be running school buses at the usual start of the year, what do we do with the buses? What do we do with the drivers? I mean, are we going to furlough the drivers until they've got work to do, or is that going to be an option for them? What do we do with the teachers? Are they going to need to be? How will we notify them? What will we do with them? Do we let them take extended vacations? Are we going to bring them back because they've got agreements now that start at a particular time? They will need to know in plenty of time whether or not school is going to start, and for next year when they can start planning their summertime, because we still got to deal with the same number of days, right?
Right. Yeah. You know, I think it was converted now to hours. The new law that sonography was passed. For converting from school days to actually school hours now, so there's definitely a lot of things to consider. But in terms of like the
hold on, let me rest on that for a second. So if we convert it to hours, that would mean that that instead of having a finite or a fixed number of days, we could scale it. So instead of it being a 7-hour day, then we could make it a longer teaching day.
Those are possibilities. I do know. Like I said, you know, the superintendent, even with respect to the delaying of school, we don't even know if that's going to be on the table right now. I told the superintendent, and I know the board members have to look into all options, you know, considering that this is going to be a larger cut for the department. So, you know, I want to give him an opportunity with his team to review, you know, these proposals that he's going to present to us. It's not going to be an easy task considering where we're at right now. But I got to say, though, in terms of FY18, we're you know, consistently receiving our allotments, and you know, we're paying our vendors, and you know, just managing accordingly. But FY19, now that the speaker showing some great concern, it's of course some great concern for us as well.
Yeah, well, I look at it from a couple of different angles, and the one that is most important to me, like many other people in the community, is how that's going to affect my pocketbook. So my preference, obviously, is if you guys can continue your cuts, if you guys can continue frugal spending habits at the Department of Education and hold off as much as we can on transferring your financial problems to the taxpayers, I think that's going to work out well for us.
Right.
Mark, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Keep me posted on this. So you said you got another meeting on Friday, and schedule and further cuts are going to be discussed at that meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, we want to hear the proposal from John and his team. Once we get that information, we're going to definitely look at our priorities in terms of, you know, the whole entire piece of the puzzle. But like you said, you know, the Department of Education is the largest piece that's going to get the biggest hit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, based on the 14 points, that's you know, we have to provide an adequate education for our children.
Well, I thought that was a good place to go in your budget conversation. Go with the 14 points, lay that down as the foundation for everything else, and so if you've got to have a last stand, that's where you have it on the 14 points. 8:46. Mark, I'll chat with you later. Appreciate it. All right, it's Ray Gibson Show at 8:47, and an opportunity. We had it yesterday, but I was having too much fun talking with Daryl Taggarty about the old days and the old ways when Peter, John, and I were little kids, how to get into Tumon. And frankly, back in those days, you didn't get into Tumon unless you walked or you had a 4x4. Peter John's on the line. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Ray, and from our mutual friend, Benita Huffa.
Huffa Day, how's that girl doing, man? I haven't seen her in a long time.
She's doing well. She's doing her darndest to keep us moving ahead, working on billing and collecting and just trying to do things.
The last time I saw her was on television, and she was getting in a scrap with BJ.
Yeah, I think all of us are getting into it.
I think so. Hey, I wanted to touch on this. Frankly, when I made the call yesterday, I had not yet seen the story about the board at Guam Memorial Hospital finally having a meeting, and I think being given all the details they need on CMS and the action plan that is moving forward. Can you brief me a little bit on that board meeting that took place Friday?
Sure. The board meeting held on Friday, and actually. The board in one of the subcommittees, and it was only 4 members of the board who were at that subcommittee meeting for quality and safety. We went through the CMS report and then the corrective action plans, And then what happened on Friday was that Lillian Posadas, one of our board members and a former director of nursing here and clinical services here, basically did a very brief summary of the different citations from the CMS report.
Okay.
And so she talked about the first one was our QAPI, the Quality Assessment Performance Improvement, and how that needs to be really tightened up a lot more, because a lot of that, deals with quality issues and safety issues for patients especially. And so she went through that one. Then she talked about the practitioner who had requested for privileges and was not really eligible for it, and that was a citation that CMS had given to the hospital with regards to its medical staff functioning. Then there was the other issue about the hospital has a system, Ray, of reporting, different kinds of incidents that happen, events, such as medication matters, patient falls, delays in a procedure, perhaps, just different things that we monitor throughout every department in the hospital. And so, in this one particular instance, the reporting system didn't one event, but and nonetheless, it's still an event that is important, and that dealt with a medication that was given to a patient that wasn't called for, and generally, the staff who is involved in the incident, since they would have the most knowledge about what had happened, generates a report that then flows into the system, where it goes to a supervisor who looks at what was going on, and there's a whole algorithm that we look at with regards to, was this an intentional event?
It sounds like Sigma 6, where you detail and report on every step that you take. As you imagine, it's something the size of a hospital. There's a lot of actions that take place from check in to check out, and so everything has to be notarized and reported and documented so that you can review everything. There is this unbelievable process. Without getting too much into the detail here, now that the board, quote, is actively engaged. Nestor Lecanto wrote that, but the point needs to get made, and I think there was some criticism, including criticism from me, that it took a while for the board to get engaged, to finally have a meeting where everybody got together and we're talking about the risks associated with CMS and their withdrawal of approval, as well as your corrective action plan. Why did it take so long to get the board together for that?
Rick, part of it is that all of the board members are, they're busy members of the community. They have a job. They have other obligations that they need to address. And so I think that was especially, important for them to be able to finally have that opportunity.
Well, I'm glad they had the opportunity, but I mean, they had to know going in as members of the board that the Guam Memorial Hospital has been in a precarious situation since you and I were in middle school. I mean, you can't just say, well, I'll go to the board meetings when it's convenient. GMH, as I said, is precarious. So if you're going to sit on the board, you better make plans to be there all the time.
Yeah, and there was that period, Ray, if you remember, when we had a kind of like an en masse resignation of board members, and so essentially the governor had assumed responsibility as the head of the island's government. And I'll be honest with you, Ray, it is really, really challenging to try to find people to agree to come on to the board. And I think part of that is because the history of GMH and the multiple challenges that we have, that tie a lot to finances. It's quite honestly, it's almost a thankless job, and so the folks who come on to this.
I know. I'm just saying, Peter. I get what you're trying to say, and I appreciate the defense of them. But if it comes down to it, if you're not interested on a 24-hour day, 7-day a week basis of helping Guam Memorial Hospital, I don't know that board position's for you. But that's just me getting to that point. I feel like they should have been a bigger part of this, going back to the Joint Commission. I mean, if I was the board chair, I'd be calling meetings all the time. Speaking of Joint Commission and CMS, have you heard anything back? Any responses on the corrective action plans that you've sent to them?
Not yet, sir.
We're
hanging in there. But as we had developed a plan of correction, we're going on that until they either tell us you're on the wrong track, or you're doing fine, and we'll see you the next time we come out.
It's pretty soon going to be August and then September. So 60, 70 days worth of wait time, and if they come back and say we read your review and it ain't working, that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for further corrective activities or further corrective action plans to take place. Should you be a little bit more assertive in getting a hold of them, saying, have you gotten it? Have you read it? What do you think, guys?
Actually received feedback from them that the report, our plan of correction, was received by them.
Mm.
And that we had, and that unfortunately, I guess it's a small group of professionals that go out and survey, different hospitals within the region of their region of responsibility.
Yeah.
And so, and in fact, I believe one of the head surveyor right now is also still out on survey.
So yeah, okay. So you have heard you've at least that they've gotten the message. They just haven't responded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I was about to equate this with my friend Julius. It's like the blue check marks, right? You get blue check marks, and you send somebody a note, and you at least know that they've received it on WhatsApp. You're just waiting for the response. Hey, Peter, I got to let you run. I appreciate the time. Good luck, and let me know what happens as soon as you hear something from JCO or CMS.
Whatever you need.
Okay. And call if you need help with your electrical panel. Call Kindo Electric.
No.
Right? Those guys are good. No, they do our work. I mean, obviously it's a smaller scale than what you've got at GMH. I'm just saying those guys are top notch, bro. I'll see you pretty soon. 8:55 in the morning, and the other voice that you hear, Peter John Camacho from Guam Memorial Hospital. The other voice that you hear is Julia Cesar Santos.
Half a day.
Boy, this has got to be a tough time for you with your old pal Chris Barnett doing so many stories on staff assistants over
That's
at
fine. I'm okay with
the
that.
Place. And now everybody knows that you're bringing down $45,000 a year to be a staff assistant.
As soon as I started working for the government over 4.5 years ago, about 4.5 years ago, that's when I realized, like, oh wow, you're
everybody knows.
In the private sector, we're like, hey, don't look at my check stub. But in the public sector, it's like you can look it up online.
I got you. So what? But what's the difference between you and Yvette Cruz? So how come you get $45,000 a year, and Yvette Cruz, arguably good looking, but maybe not as good looking as you, is
She's
doing
beautiful.
Is doing 70. I know. I'm just playing around because I'm trying to kill time. I'm going to get you started. I'm going to get you started after the other side. But anyway, so she gets 70 and you get 45. What's the difference?
Well, she's transferring over from a director position, so she holds a lot more weight, and she's up there and she's helping to lead the communications office with Oya.
Okay.
So her responsibilities obviously are in a higher
what did she do before?
She was over at EPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yvette was over at EPA, and then okay. So who's at EPA now?
I believe the acting director currently is Nick Lee. Nick Rupley Lee.
Have I met that one?
I don't think so.
Because I gotta guess. Because you know why? I got a thing. This is EPA, and I want them to clamp down hard on this. Because another example this morning was 4:45. I was making my way to work, and yes, it's always about me. I'm making my way to work, and I'm driving, and I get this smell, and it's putrid, and I couldn't figure out.
That wasn't me. I promise.
No, first thing you smell your armpit. Wait a second. I took a shower. I used soap and shampoo and everything today. I did everything that I was supposed to. I could not get rid of this. And finally, two cars in front of me was a trash truck, private sector trash truck. Was
it leaking?
It was leaking.
Had the funk juice dripping out?
The funk juice. It had the mutung. It had the hanam basula that was coming out of this thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, even after I'd passed it, after I'd figured out what it was, even after I'd passed it, I still couldn't get the smell out. And it really bothers me that these guys do this, and nobody from the EPA or public health is cracking down on what I consider to be an environmental disaster, on what I consider to be a public health menace, and what I consider to be one of the many things that turns tourists off. Nobody wants to be around when these things are driving around and they're stinking up the village.
I've seen that in Tumon as well in certain occasions, and you're right, it's with the private sector and their trucks. And the first step, we'd alert them and say, hey, by the way, there's a hole in your truck and the garbage is seeping through it.
It's not that there's a hole. There's an actual drain.
Oh, there's an actual drain.
Yeah, and
then we've had a lot of rain recently.
Open it up. Yeah, they open it up because if they leaved it closed, then it means that the thing would be heavier and they'd have to go back more often to unload the trash in this Hanum Basula. So they let it drain. Man. There's a plug that they can plug.
That's a tough trade-off, though.
Did you see what I did with my fingers? There's a plug that they can plug up into the thing and make the Hanum Basula stay in the truck, but they don't want to do it.
Right, and I hear you, and that's a valid point. It's a tough trade-off, though, because you want to get the trash.
To make them stop.
Well, I was just about to say the trade-off is you
work at the governor's office.
You want to get rid of the trash a lot quicker. So the trade-off is and I'm not saying it's okay.
It's not a good trade.
I'm not saying it's okay. Yeah. But I'm sure the people whose trash is piling up in front of their houses like, hey, at least it's not stinking in front of here. But valid point. And it gets stuck in your nose and you can't get the smell out for like a couple hours. Yeah,
45
really
seconds before the top of the hour. I got news coming up in a second. Then we're going to talk about the real reason why Julius is here is to explain what Eddie is doing with chickens at the Calvo compound. Carlotta Carlotta outed him today. Carlotta outed the governor and said his latest thing is he's got a chicken coop over at in the Calvo compound.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. I'd love to get some fresh eggs.
He's got apparently fresh eggs. I guess that's the deal. Is they're too expensive to pay less. So he's making his own. At least that's my takeaway on it. Julius and I are going to be talking about liberation festivities coming up in the next hour of the program. That's after Fox News Live.
2 hours to go. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. We'll soon learn the name of President Trump's pick for Supreme Court Justice. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Fox News has learned that President Trump has decided on his nominee for the Supreme Court. The finalists are believed to be 4 federal judges: Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, Amy Coney Barrett, and Thomas Hardiman. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor said he expects almost unanimous opposition from Democrats, regardless of who the president chooses.
We don't know who he will name, but we already know exactly what unfair tactics the nominee will face.
Democratic Senators Joe Manchin, Heidi Heitkamp, and Joe Donnelly were each invited to the White House tonight for the Supreme Court announcement. All declined the invitation. Lisa?
John, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says ordinary Americans will be the biggest losers no matter who the president picks.
It is near impossible to imagine that President Trump would select a nominee who isn't hostile to our health care law and health care for millions and millions and millions of Americans.
You can hear the president's announcement at 9 p.m. Eastern on many of these Fox radio stations. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo making a renewed push for peace in Afghanistan with a previously unannounced trip there.
During his nearly 7-hour stop, the secretary met with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, Chief Executive Abdullah Abdullah, and pushed for peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban.
Many of the Taliban now see that they can't win on the ground militarily. We saw the Taliban respond to the ceasefire that President Ghani put in place.
Pompeo's stop in Afghanistan is part of a week-long international trip that began in North Korea.
Fox's Rich Edson at Bagram Air Base. An attorney for the federal government says authorities will be able to release about half the immigrant children under age 5 who are still in custody. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth. From vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams, we're all concerned with protecting our world's water. But none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein was back in court this morning in New York City to answer to new sexual assault charges.
Harvey Weinstein is pleading not guilty to additional charges of committing a sex crime against a third woman. A judge has also ordered him to be released on continued bail. The new charges include 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, which carry a maximum sentence of life in prison if he is convicted. His lawyer, Ben Brafman, says his client is not a predator.
He is not a rapist. And I believe that when this case is over, we will ultimately see him to be exonerated.
He also says he expects more charges. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Actress Robin Wright says the cast of House of Cards was surprised and saddened about the sexual misconduct allegations against Kevin Spacey. Wright made the comments in a taped interview for ABC. She said she didn't know him very well, but between takes, Spacey was always very professional. Some MLB players are none too pleased about the results of this year's All-Star Game voting.
Tampa Bay Rays pitcher Chris Archer is mad about the American League All-Star roster, not because he was left off, but
my teammate, my close friend, Blake Snell, was not a unanimous selection for the All-Star Game. That's a joke.
Archer there on his Instagram page vouching for teammate Blake Snell. Snell, a surprising snub for the AL All-Stars, leading the league in ERA and second in wins with 12 this season. Archer among several players taking to social media to express their upset over MLB requiring them to make their All-Star selection so early in the season that it leaves deserving players out of the Midsummer Classic. Snell could still be in D.C. for the All-Star Game next week as an alternate or replacement on the AL roster. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Wall Street at the close, all major indexes closing higher. The Dow rose 320 points, and the Nasdaq up 67, and the S&P added 24 points. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Sometimes a penny saved can lead to much more than a penny earned. With GPA Energy Sense rebate program, the power is yours. Earn money back while saving on your monthly power bill. GPA Energy Sense rebate program will help lower your initial costs when purchasing approved GPA energy efficient appliances and upgrades with monthly savings you can expect. For more Energy Sense saving ideas, visit GuamPowerAuthority.com or like us on Facebook. GPA, bringing energy solutions to you.
And portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, Coconut Wireless, what do you want to call it? It used to be the Halai High, but now the Halai High is on Facebook Live, and we got a lively Facebook Live deal going on here today. Interesting conversations about ways that we might be able to make some money in the government of Guam. I like that. Talking about Joe wants to have the conversation started on the casino. You know, I went by because I wanted to see a little bit of the baseball game the other night, so I went by Paseo.
Okay.
And realized that they were probably going to charge me for booze on the inside, so I brought my own and just kind of sat outside.
Such a good guy, Ray.
Right. I just, it's my way of supporting.
Of course,
him.
yeah.
And so I didn't know if they'd have the brand that I wanted, so I just kind of sat outside and sat literally next to the casino at the Paseo.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Been there
the
since last
still
year.
There, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
Are you guys going to be doing anything with it for the Liberation?
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I know that was.
I know it ain't going to be used as a casino.
Right. Yeah, and that was the mayor's deal. So we might have to. And then I don't think that actually belongs to the mayors. It might belong to the individuals that were running the casino. So I'm not too clear on that. I could look into it and then get back to you.
Are we charging them rent? We should. I mean,
I'll look into that. That's a good point.
They got a building on government on what is the people's property. Then the people need to charge them
unless
rent.
we're using it as storage for Paseo supplies.
Exactly.
I'll look into it and I'll get back to you.
Write that down. The voice that you're hearing is Julia Cesar Santos, who was a special assistant with the governor's office, and. By way of putting, because, and I don't want to spend too much time backfilling the story here,
sure.
But the mayors aren't doing the carnival this year.
No, they're not. The governor's office the mayor's asked
As
the
they
governor
did last year.
Yeah, the mayor, of course, they asked us again this year to assist them with the carnival. The governor reached out to Chuck Adda and Nate DeKnight, so over at the airport in GVB, put together a team, and then the public sector and the private sector came together. Everybody's working really hard, and they're making this happen for the people.
Starting tomorrow night.
It's starting tomorrow night. That's right. And of course, I got voluntold to MC, coming from our trade.
Yeah, that's how you
we need
earn
a
your
host. Like, oh, Julius,
and special assistants in money.
Ray, I'm telling you, it's definitely part of it, because everywhere I go, it's just like, oh, he can do it, and I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's show prep. Every chance that I have to be in front of a microphone, I always take. It's great when I get paid for it, but if I'm not getting paid for it, I'm taking away something that I can talk about on the radio at some
it's
point.
included in my salary.
It's kind of sort of is.
Everything
isn't it?
from moderating proclamations to ceremonies and whatnot.
The official MC of the governor's office, Julius Caesar Sanchez.
Call it unofficial, but yeah.
So you'll have some impresario duties at the Liberation festivities. So it starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's the general day? What's the general schedule Monday through Friday?
Okay, so it's going to be 12 days from the 11th to the 22nd, July 11th to July 22nd. The hours are going to be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So 4-hour schedule every night, with the exception of the 20th and the 21st. That's a Friday and a Saturday. The hours will be extended to 11 p.m.
Because everybody will be in the downtown area getting ready. This is a 3-day drunk we're talking about, right? Friday night party and Saturday all day, and then recovery on Sunday.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's a great liberation weekend. What about the Wednesday night markets between here and there? In fact, tomorrow night is going to be a Wednesday night market as we start this. Is there a concern that we've got too many activities and not enough parking in the downtown area? You think
Absolutely not. There's parking throughout the entire downtown. And this is a thing, right? A lot of people always want to park right next to the event, and so if we're following the same model that we did last year, so we're going to have all our ADA compliant parking as close to the actual venue as possible, and then the rest of the downtown area using the block system, we can park there. Because I mean, we're at the Festival Huts. It transitions to the Chamorro Village. Then we have the crosswalk going over to Skinner Plaza. So really, the Liberation Festival is that entire area of downtown Agana.
Okay, so folks, get in there. Find the parking spots in the usual places, maybe some unusual. You might have to go all the way back to the back of Academy and park there and walk in, but it ain't that far.
Sure, yeah. I won't say all the way back. We'll just say you got to go behind Academy. Yeah.
As the crow flies, it's not that far. You might have to go as far away as the Gutierrez headquarters. Just thought I'd throw that in there just because it's fun.
There's good parking by there.
There is very good parking over by his place out
and
in.
then, now that the Department of Administration building's not there, they might utilize that space.
That's a sore spot with me, so I wouldn't necessarily bring that up.
Yeah,
because you know what? The other thing is there was a bunch of guys that were doing food truck stuff there, and they got kicked out, and it pissed me off.
Well, and I'm not pointing the finger, shifting the blame, but that space is under the purview of the legislature, and so that was the decision that they made finally. But I agree with you. I mean, it's a great place for local entrepreneurs who are going out and trying to have their own business.
Foundation and everything, and then somebody got all snotty over at the legislature, and they haven't been back since. I thought they were going to come up with some kind of resolve to that.
Perhaps they it got lost in the wayward. So now that we're talking about it, maybe somebody there will hear it, and maybe we could knock on their door and say, "Hey, do you remember this issue?"
Yeah, because it's a big deal. As far as I'm concerned, well, now they've got the what is it, the food truck Thursdays or Tuesday thing
right there at Skinner Plaza along Marine Corps Drive.
And it's another piece of advice you can take back to the governor. So you tell him we talked.
Sure,
Kenny and I are tight. Yeah. You tell him we need more lights at Skinner Plaza when we're doing the food truck thing. Because I remember I'd gotten, somebody said, you got to line up at this place. It's really good. They got these fat ribs, right? And so I get in there, it's fat ribs. And of course, I bite
That's
into
what
one
they
of these
should
things.
call it, fat ribs.
Right, and I got, actually, I've got an idea for another bar that we're going to open. Did you want to hear? It's another bar that we're going to open. It's going to be called Teachable Moments.
Nice. Ah, you had to go there, didn't you, Ray? You had to go there.
Anyway, but it's a
teachable
perfect
moment.
name. It's a perfect name for a bar, isn't it?
It is. It's a great name.
Anyway, so fat
many
ribs,
of those.
I bit into one of these things, and it was all manteca. There was no meat on this part of the rib.
Oh man!
And I'm sitting there chewing it, going, "Okay, there's some meat in here somewhere."
They did tell you it was a fat rib. They didn't say there was a meaty rib.
But the juice was good and the sauce was good. It's just the
lights.
I wish I'd had a little bit more light there. Yeah. So put that. But you're gonna have food trucks all over the place at the Liberation activities, right?
There's gonna be all kinds of food, and you know the usual gamut of vendors are going to be there, from games to prizes to foods to the confectionery. Of course, you know it gets eclectic, but we're going to have the local staples there. Of course, you mentioned. Pardon me, the Wednesday night market. In the past, whenever there was a festival there, the Wednesday night market went on as scheduled. So I'm pretty sure that they'll continue to roll forward.
You know, I got to find is Mark Colby info or whoever's the. What about baseball? Do you know about baseball? Are we still doing the baseball?
I know about baseball, but I don't know the schedule.
Yeah.
I have heard of the sport, Ray.
I know.
I'm teasing.
Because I'm just thinking if we did the baseball and the Wednesday night market and the festivities at the same time. But I want to say I got a note from him. I think they're waiting out. There might not be on those nights some baseball activities.
Do you think it's a safety reason?
No, well, it just
like
might
somebody
just
hits
be,
a pop fly or a home run out of the park kind of thing.
It's doable, but I think it's just that they don't want to be in the midst of everything. You know,
I would say the opposite. I would love to be in the midst of everything. Perhaps that might draw more of a crowd, unless they already get a huge crowd. So
yeah, no.
I mean, it's a prerogative.
Like I said, I wasn't the only one that was sitting outside drinking beer, listening to the game. There was more than one or two people doing that, and I looked at the stands from the stands that I could see.
Oh no, and it was empty.
Yeah. I'm looking to see what the schedule is. Mark, if you could, if you're not already at work, let me know. I think no scheduled date. As per Commissioner Sazen, may be on hold for the break between the 11th and the 22nd and pick up thereafter, but it's maybe, not definitely. So it looks like they put a hole in the schedule big enough to fit the liberation activities.
Oh, cool.
So as you said, from tomorrow night until the 22nd, from 5 until 9, most nights until we get close to Liberation Weekend, then it's going to go until 11 o'clock at night.
Correct. The 20th and the 21st will go to 11 o'clock. We got all kinds of entertainment ranging from the Phoenix State Band, Sound Advice. We'll have cultural groups. Prominence is going to be getting up there. Rock Bottom, Coco and the Way Cool. What is that? Coco and the Way Cool Heroes. There you go. They played, I believe, at the last festival. Tress to Impress. Mike Napoli's going to be there. Conference with a K. Mixed Plate. And then we got this big act to close out the festival.
Joe Guam.
I'm not allowed to know.
Oh, we're not allowed to say?
I'm not allowed to say. I'm not allowed to say.
The Serenas. It's going to be the Serenas. Chris is going to
Wouldn't that be great?
Chris and the girls are going to get back together.
That would be great. Really, it would be.
I'm telling you, take it back to the office. Ray is full of ideas.
Well, you know,
you should make Ray a staff assistant.
I was talking to him and Umko the other day, and they were like, you know, it would be really cool if the lineup that they had for the Survivors gala dinner that they had, if they could play one night at that. So I'm not saying they're right, but it'd be great if we could have that discussion really quickly to see if any of them, Jesse and Ruby, Kande Dutaman, and the classics.
Those guys, I'd walk across the street to listen to those guys.
Yeah.
What about games of chance? Will there be any of those? Because I know that there's in fact, I'm one of them. That was one of the reasons I was initially disappointed that there's not going to be a carnival, because I'm not necessarily down with the casino stuff, because I'm not a big gambler.
Right.
But I do appreciate the pay.
You're talking about the Beto and the Pay Red. I was saying yes because I'm thinking games, but then you're saying games of chance, and it took a second for it to register as obviously that's another way of saying gambling. So as far as games of chance, I'm not too clear on what exactly they're going to have there, because they'll have games, and technically all of those games are chance, right? But as far as the classic, dear to our heart, the color game and the Beto, which I never actually played, but I just love going. It's part of the whole thing.
It's the sound.
It's the noise. Place your bets. Yeah, exactly. It's
what about rides for the kids? Do we have rides for the kids?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to have that. And the Pit Shop, Pitter Crew, he's going to have his stuff there. They're going to have the zip line. I believe we're going to have the zipper there.
I like the zipper.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe we're going to have that there. We had it at one of the last festivals. They'll have those. I
was trying to get
Power Wheel
Major Joe from the Guard to let us use the helicopter.
Like an actual helicopter?
Well, we got one at the Guard. She said no.
Oh man!
I tried to get. I tried to get Joey Duenas. Right. I tried to get Joey Duenas from CCU to let us use the bucket trucks from GPA.
They just raise and. Just to use it.
He said no
fun.
too.
Those are like big boys' toys.
These are no fun people here, and I'm trying to help out as much as I possibly can. The fire guys, who wouldn't want to ride around on an honest to God fire truck?
Right. I would love to, but and you are a taxpayer and you're contributing to the purchase of that. However, safety is paramount, and if you get hurt on that, then you're going to want to sue us.
So much spinning. Do you hear the spinning going on?
No, I'm putting logic together to respond to your question.
Well, as a taxpayer, I'd like to get a little bit more out of it. I haven't called the fire department this year.
Burn some trash in the back of your house. The fire truck will come and then ask them if you could ride back with them.
Can I get a ride? Yes, we'll give you a ride to jail. Is where we're. Speaking of
By
rides
the way,
to
don't
jail,
do that.
Speaking of rides to jail, maybe in some of the police cars, we could get some time in the paddy wagon. How much fun would that be? I'm trying to take advantage of all of everything that we've got in the government.
I don't know. Do they still do the ride-alongs? I need to find out. Because an old friend of mine, Kevy Kev, used to do ride-alongs like all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if they're still doing that, but I know I've been on one once upon a time in my life, and actually
didn't you report on that? I think I remember.
There was I doubt it. One of the things that I remember doing with these guys once upon a time, and it was in the old Roman Carlos days. And there used to be Dennis, what was his name? It was the PIO for the police department. He'll come to me in just a second. Little Dennis. Phil Dennis was his name. There we go. And so what we did was we got a bus. Went to Kloppenberg Enterprises, and we rented a bus.
It sounds dangerous already.
We wanted a bus tour, and the idea it was one of these things where we wanted to illustrate as clearly as possible, doing live broadcasts all the way through. So we wanted to illustrate as clearly as possible what could happen to you if you just we're doing a series of drinking in different places. Okay. So that was the idea. We all wanted to go on a bus tour anyway, but we figured we'd turn it into some kind of public service deal.
May as well.
So every stop, all the DJs had a drink, and every stop, Roman would administer the breathalyzer.
Ah, okay.
And so by the fourth place, there was not one of us that was capable of driving anymore.
Right.
Thank God we have a bus.
Was it one drink each place?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
by the
and
fourth place, so 4 drinks already.
They were big. They were like Long Island iced tea
well, there
drinks,
you go.
So
what are
I'm
you
just-
talking about?
Yeah, we frankly, like I said, it was just a bus party, and we were trying to come up
That's
with
a
an
cool
excuse to turn
experiment,
it-
though.
Yeah, and so everywhere we would go, we would get the breathalyzer test, and it was a very, very cool thing to, like I said, illustrate to people the dangers of drinking and then attempting to drive and knowing what your blood alcohol count is.
Absolutely.
And just what your limits are supposed to be. Will there be beverages of all kinds, adult and otherwise, at the thing? I mean, we're going to help pay off the mid-pack lean? Or
There's going to be a beer garden.
Yes.
Yes.
We should have started with that.
Now we're having a conversation,
Yeah.
Ray. There is a beer garden. Gentlemen, let us speak.
From tomorrow night until the 22nd, 5 until 9, there's a beer garden there. Drink responsibly, because the idea is this is a family event.
Absolutely,
And that's,
absolutely.
If we go back to the genesis of all of this, it is that there were a lot of people that were concerned that the emphasis was going to be on raising money and gambling. And so they've removed that now. We still want to raise some money, but we're not necessarily going to do it with gambling. We still want it to be a family event. So we'll have a beer down there for moms and dads that like to drink beer. Otherwise, there's going to be the usual food and game, food and surprises and things like that at the deal.
And it'll be complemented by special hours with the Guam Museum. So they'll be staying open until 7 p.m. throughout the duration of the festival. So you'll have an opportunity. I mean, that's why it'll make sense now that you can transition.
Yeah, you can get coffee there.
Huh?
You can get coffee there.
Yeah, they got great coffee there. I got coffee the other day. Really neat. On the 14th, July 14th, they're having a workshop there, Ha'an in Familia. So it's a Liberation Day parade art activity. So the kids are invited, the community is invited to go down. You can do some artwork, and they'll display it at the museum on the 21st.
Oh, on the Liberation Day festivities.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So that's a good excuse for everybody to. This is going to be interesting, and I don't remember how it worked last year, where everything was last year, but it will be nice that we're all together.
Yeah.
On Liberation Day, when back in the olden days, that's the way it was. Is the Liberation Parade would wind up, and floats would go home or somewhere, and everybody would kind of empty the parade route towards the Paseo.
Yeah.
Because that's where the actual carnival was. So I think it's going to be neat that we're all together again this year. Because we're looking for our spot in the parade, and frankly, that's one of the things I wanted to be able to do is as soon as we're done with our parade coverage and our parade activities for the radio station, to be able to say, okay, let's go and find some fun now. Let's go and find that beer garden that Julius was talking about.
And you're right. Gosh, it was so long ago. I forgot that.
That's the way
that's
it
where
was.
we
That's
always
where
went
the
there.
carnival was.
Back when they had the roundup and That was one of my favorite rides back. The one where you stand up and it just spins and it kind of tilts on its axis.
Yes. They have that at Tagada now. It's called a whole different thing, and it's newer and better and fancier and faster, and it actually spins like a turntable. That's the very cool stuff.
That's crazy.
Do we need to bring money? Will the Bank of Guam have the money thing out there? What are we doing for
I'm pretty
cash?
sure that the standard ATM machines are going to be out there. There's a bunch of banks in downtown Naganya. Anyway, I would advise to just bring cash, obviously, because I don't think the vendors will be taking cards there. Thank you so much for the time to talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna stick you in with Blake and Daryl here in just a couple of minutes. I want to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything, because I know that there's so much going on. Is there a website where we can go to? Is Nate giving up some space in GVB or the governor's office where we can see the lineup and some of the events? I'm almost positive I've seen it on KUAM and on their website.
You got me there, but I would just check Visit Guam. .com and check it out and see if they have it on there. If not, they can contact the governor's office. But we're putting out press releases with all the information. I'll send you the information if you don't already have it.
And we'll make a big deal about it starting tomorrow and through to the 22nd. I might actually go on. We've got the RDS thing where we can tell people about songs and title and artists and stuff. So I might do this on the radio stations as just a reminder when the carnival is open, 5 to 9 every night between now and the 22nd. Go and enjoy the carnival in downtown Hagåtña. Julius, it's always fun seeing you.
Yeah, you too, Ray. I really appreciate this.
Well, it's kind of different to be back in the building, right? Because you've actually spent some time. Yes. Well, just before I got here, Julius was working at the
Boss.
The Boss, KIJI, and doing the afternoon show there. And I was so disappointed when I came in and you weren't there, because I thought that would be awesome.
It would have been fun to work with you, man.
If this senator thing doesn't work out,
I'll give you a call.
You're the man. 9:23 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show continues, probably on the other side of these.
Apply today for First Hawaiian Bank's United Mileage Plus credit card. And upon approval, you will be entered to win 2 round-trip business class tickets on United. You'll also earn up to 30,000 bonus miles, 5,000 upon opening your new account, and 25,000 after spending $1,500 within 3 months. And you'll get 2 times the mileage on United ticket purchases. Apply by August 31, 2018. Stop by any branch or visit us online at FHB.com. Terms and conditions apply. Sweepstakes starts on July 1, 2018 and ends on August 31, 2018. Open to legal residents of Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands aged 18 years or older. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Visit www.fhb.com/United Sweepstakes for official rules and complete details. Member FDIC.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
I started talking about some stuff a little bit earlier, and I completely forgot. Is it time for us to do the Cheers thing again?
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Isn't that the fun stuff? And love jumping on Facebook and just seeing who has checked in and who's decided that they wanted to be part of the show. I see my buddy Jason Respicio and Paris Blas, who celebrated her birthday. Was that yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday. Booney Dog tomorrow, who wrote in, sometimes by the time I get to some of these comments, they're like 3 topics ago. But he wrote in and says, I once dated a girl named Bubba. Oh, wait, that was my cellmate. See, maybe Sister Mona Silva's there, Bob Lizama. And Denise Legaspi says, most of the senators and the governor are leaving office, so they aren't worried about the results of their action. That's why they wait a few years so people forget who hurt the people and then will jump back into office. Interesting observation there. Charlie Laron is in there. Mary Cruz, Yvette Ibanez. I'm there. Well, that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it? Alfred Mendoza, Elmo Cotton. Hey, buddy. Jasper Sill. And I got to click on this link. I originally looked at this and I thought, is somebody, what's the word I'm looking for? Spamming my group here. But Jasper Sill, here's something I found when I was doing a search for unclaimed property in California. You can search business/government unclaimed money. So I typed in Guam in the search, and voila, money. Let me just click on where it says open in a new tab and see if there's anything to that. What is it? Tenorio must not like the cop, so he grabbed the weapon to make the poor cop look bad. I don't know how bad the police officer is looking. As far as I know, they haven't even mentioned the guy's name. They haven't identified
Tenorio is
the
a former policeman, right?
Yes.
So somebody, if anyone, should have known better than to walk up behind a police officer and remove his service revolver from his holster without telling him. I mean, I'm sorry.
I would think that anywhere else that would be, pulling out the backup now.
He's lucky he didn't get one.
Shot.
He's lucky.
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
Man, you take my revolver, I'm going to tase you and get my gun back.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get my gun back one way or the other. Carl Pangolino with the K is there, Dave Duenas, and Denise really wants to repeal that gambling law that I was talking about, where the idea was we're not even going to put it on, they wanted to make it so that it wouldn't even show up on a referendum anymore. Remove aliens from Guam who don't pay their hospital bill. Break laws who come to Guam with the intent to just suck us dry. Boy, it feels like that, doesn't it? Ken Williams online and said, Teachable Moments is the name of my new band. Janae Uggan, running for office. Joey Charfras, Mike Tagura. Oh, I know him. He works here. I shouldn't have to do that. Does he have a firearms ID? I don't. You know what? That's an interesting question, isn't it, Baggy? I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I would presume he does. If he's maintained it. If he's maintained it. Yeah, that was tricky. We've actually got, and I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, although I threatened to do it earlier. Kevin Kerrigan managed to find Ray Tenorio yesterday and ask him questions specifically about that. So I thought maybe I'd play this. This is like I call this Jungle Rules journalism. As far as I know, this is completely unedited and is as it was when Kevin asked the questions of Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio.
What can you say? What happened?
So we were at the barbecue block party, of course, and it was kind of winding down the evening. Went over to say hi, or goodbye, that is, because I was on the way out to some police officers and firemen. They were there. And I noticed the cop is a really good guy. He's got a great record. And I saw his holster and looked like it was kind of odd because, I was a instructor in the academy and police officer for a long time and oversee public safety. And there are thousands of people there. And it looked like the firearm wasn't secured in the sense of like a strap. And so I was curious, and in hindsight, it probably should have gone around the front side, but I saw that it looked odd. And so I pulled on it, and it came out really easily. So I immediately said, here, take this. And so he grabbed it, put it back. And I was concerned because, you have a lot of people. Somebody with bad intentions could have turned that on him or anybody else. So it's really a teachable moment that I was trying to see, how we could find out why it had come out so easily. Because a guy had dealt with many holsters and many firearms in my history. That's something that's the most deadliest thing you carry. So I was just trying to, see if there's an opportunity to learn from it. And sure enough, we kind of parted ways and wished each other well. And I went home, and that was that.
Do you know the officer by name?
Yes.
Can you say his name?
No, I'd rather not.
Was this reported to the chief of police?
I believe it probably was.
Did the officer file a complaint? Is it something that he spoke to you about that he doesn't think you should have done?
I don't know.
What happened at the end?
We wished each other luck and said goodnight and took off. That was it.
You parted friends?
Yeah. There was no problem. I didn't see a problem about that.
You didn't speak to him about it
No,
afterwards?
No.
Do you regret doing it the way you've described it?
Yeah, I mean, like I
would
said,
you have done it differently?
In hindsight, probably I should have said, "Hey, man, something looks odd." But you know, when you're a cop, you kind of it's something instinctive. When something doesn't look right, and you know, public safety is at stake, and you got thousands of people around, that's something that immediately you got to make sure is not a safety concern. So, if anything, I think that by doing what we did, probably could have prevented somebody's safety from being at risk.
So you're saying your concern was public safety?
Absolutely.
And you were trying to...
Well, it's a training opportunity, really. I mean, anything that you see in public safety is a function of, trial and error. Sometimes when you see something, and again, I was really surprised that it came out easy, but it kind of looked odd. So that's why I pulled on it, and sure enough, it came out easily. And I immediately gave it back to him and make sure that, if there's a way that we can figure out how to make sure it doesn't happen again, that's really my end goal.
There are some that have been suggesting on social media that alcohol played a role. Do you feel you had too much to drink when this incident
Absolutely
occurred?
not.
You regret that this happened, though?
No, I don't think there's, I don't know that, when you're looking at public safety, look, we got thousands of people here. You got a firearm, at least in my eyes, as a guy who oversees public safety and been an instructor in the academy many, many years. When you see an opportunity to learn from something, a teaching moment, this is probably one of those, if anything.
iConnect time is 9:33. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and mobile plan.
Hi, this is Kathy, and I'm back in Guam ready to set off the fireworks with our 4th of July sale at Furniture Kathy Style. It's packed with fabulous furniture and prices that will blow your mind. Get 15 to 25% off store-wide or 12 months interest-free with approved credit. Our beautiful lamps are buy one, get one 50% off. Save big on hot deals like our 4-piece Ashley Slade bedroom set, starting at just $4.99. Stop by and see us at Furniture Kathy Style in Hagåtña.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Have you failed much in your life? Have jobs, businesses, investments, or relationships ever turned upside down for you? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we'll take another look at maybe how we should look at things when things don't go the way we want them to go.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point by Jerry Roberts at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts on The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
Yeah, Ed's on the Facebook Live saying any other person would have been taken down and arrested if that happened, and I think the operative language there is taken down. I mean, if I'd have come around the backside of a police officer and pulled the service unit out of the holster, I can imagine that I probably would have been dealt with very severely and swiftly.
If I even get 10 feet from a policeman, he's already kind of backing up and got his hand on his revolver. He's like,
Step away. Step away, son. Don't make me. I'll assume the position. No, I hear you. I hear you. And so maybe that's what it was. Maybe as the other officer might have been upset about it, might have been embarrassed about it, but at the end of the day, knew it was the lieutenant governor that had reached around and grabbed the gun, and so didn't make as big a deal out of it.
I'm of the mindset that this is kind of like an old boys, a good old boys club. That's kind of what they do to each other.
Well, it might be. I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's a parallel here that I want to run into. And there's part of it. You remember the Mark Charfora story, right? Where the guys a couple of New Years ago, and there was all kinds of noise, and 5-0 rolled up on the scene, but he was already there and hollering at everybody, get off the road, and everybody said that it was alcohol that had an effect, and he said no, it was Bell's palsy or something like that, and so the case is now being pursued in civil service, and he's probably going to win it.
Yeah, that's
he's probably going to win that case. I don't know. So he puts it down as a teachable moment. Personally, I like the phrase teachable moment. I'm going to try to use teachable moment 2 or 3 times today.
I'm going to need a sound bed for that.
I don't know. As I was joking earlier, because it's funny to me, is teachable moments is going to be the name of the bar I open. And it'll be, and our slogan's going to be every hour is happy hour.
Nice,
right? You think?
Good.
I'm probably also, because I can sell medicinal marijuana out of it.
Well, that's kind of part of the plan. It's going to be an 80s bar.
Yeah,
games, and foosball and
Galaga.
pinball and video games like Pac-Man and Joust. You know, the old school games.
What was the Tempest?
Tempest, yes.
Tempest is the game that I'm going to bring back.
We're going to have like 4 of those machines.
And they'll
we're going to
always
have
have somebody
tournaments.
on
We're
them.
going to have tournaments on those.
Yes.
We will teach people
Tempest
how to play
tournaments.
that game.
God, that was a game.
It was great.
God. I was so poor back then, and I still put quarters in the game. I was poor. I used to go to a place called Puck's Alley in Honolulu. When the very short time that I lived there, so I'm trying to go to school and had a girlfriend, and that was expensive, and it was an apartment, and not too far away from Waikiki, so that was expensive, and so here I am. I didn't know where the next check was going to be coming from because I was only working part time at a couple of radio stations, but it didn't make any difference. So there I am at Puck's Alley, right, and so I'd throw quarters into this machine and play Tempest to try to impress the girls from the University of Hawaii. Because I'm stupid, right? And when that didn't work, what did I do? I'd go next door to a place called Moose McGillicuddy's.
Nice.
Where I would drink away my sorrow for not having any more quarters to put into the machine. God! Best time ever, can I just say? Donna Bloss is saying 80s, totally there. Galaga was her game of choice.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's good too.
I never did get into now Joust. That was the one with that was animated, right?
That's Joust.
Dragon's Lair is the one.
The Dragon's Lair. Yours the one. The one Joust had you on top of the ostrich. And so the first level was just one ostrich and one enemy, and you had to land on top of him. You had to flap your wings and move the joystick left to right. And it was a matter of, keeping him floating or
it's a
hovering.
Kid's
and,
game.
Yeah, bouncing on there. But, of course, as the levels went through, you got different playing shapes and playing field variations, and, of course, more of the other eagle. What were they? They were eagles or something. Anyway, the bad guys, and so it was.
They call them bosses now, right? Is that that's the term
I think
they
so.
use?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on a second. Do I have? I've got time, right? I might do this just for the to do it. There are playthroughs that you can find on the web. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can copy and paste this so that I can stick it up on the Facebook Live. So that you can see it here.
And I still play Galaga anytime I can find one, although now usually you'll find them in a sit-down version, like at a pizza place or something. So you sit down and they'll have it'll be like a dual game. It'll be like Galaga and Miss Pac-Man or something.
But
so you can choose which one you play and go for it.
Donna had sent on Facebook, I think she's got it. Her kids, they're traveling right now because it's summertime and everybody except us are traveling. He says, having just returned from Singapore. But apparently, the kids have got a traveling version of one of the systems.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so wherever they go, she can keep them entertained with these video games. And it's not like on a phone or anything like that. Right. It just is. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Hold on a second. So YouTube, Dragons. God, it's like I'm stupid when I try to type and talk on the radio at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's consuming a lot of those brain cells.
This is terrible. I almost want to throw to another break, but I feel like I have to do this. This is a quest. Hey, you know what? Speaking of dragons, that I watched the other night, just because I'd forgotten. When does Game of Thrones start again? Do you know?
I don't know. I am so behind on that. I haven't watched in 2 years already.
888-8255 if you know what the deal is. Okay, so I think I've got it going up. So I'm gonna let this play on the Facebook Live here so that you can see what Dragon's Lair was all about. Now this is an actual playthrough, if I understand it correctly, that is based on people actually playing the game. And I will tell you about the part where I was never able to get past. And it's about here. And so there's another 50 cents. Because that was a premium machine, you remember?
That's right. Back then, because this was cutting edge. Yeah, this was cutting edge stuff right here.
So, I mean, one false move and a couple of them, and then you were a dead guy at the time. So I'm playing this, and there's guys that are sitting in a warm bath of nostalgia, just appreciating the drive. It might actually be playing music. It might actually be playing some kind of sound effect. I'll be darned, it is. Do you remember if there were swear words in this?
No, there definitely were not. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and turn the audio down and just let that play out for everybody that is having that 80s game thing. Okay, and how did we get there again? Because I was talking about the bar that I'm also going to sell marijuana at that's going to be called Teaching Moments. That's what's going to be the name of the place that I open up. One of these days, this radio thing is just going to stop working for me. You will find out, and they'll put headlines in both of the newspapers that say Ray Gibson doesn't actually have any talent, doesn't actually know what he's talking about, and therefore we need to get him out of the business. So that's what I intend to do, is I'm going to become one of those guys that just runs bars. And I'll do what everybody else does, bring in people from different places, and you can sit with them and buy them drinks for $50.
So you're going to go from being the cool guy on the radio to the cool guy that owns the bar.
To be the cool guy in the bar, dude.
Nice,
That's a fact. 9:42 in the morning. And so where do we get to go to? And I don't know. I kind of wanted to spend a little bit more time on a couple of things. If you look on Facebook, it's the deal says tax hike Tuesday. Because that's what it is. They have. B.J. Cruz has introduced legislation that will provide for, unfortunately, a discussion at the legislature. We're going to have a public hearing on increasing the BPT. Right now, it's at 5%. BJ wants to take it to 5.5%. Right now, the hotel occupancy tax. Well, I can't call it a hospitality tax if we're going to be kicking it up, or can we, right? So for, every dollar that they spend in a hotel room on Guam, 15 cents is going to be going to the government of Guam. I'm worried about that. April 2019. Sorry, there's some shiny hit. I got it was shiny. I was talking about, when does Game of Thrones start again? April 2019?
Wow, that's a long time.
That sucks. Randy, could you do me a favor and find out when season 4 of Rick and Morty is coming? Honestly, that's the one I'm waiting for. But anyway, so I bristle at the idea that there's going to be more pressure on our hospitality industry. It's already in bad shape, if you ask me. If you're talking to me and you say, Ray, how is the hospitality industry going? Because I can talk to people. I can talk to people in hotels all the time, and they will tell me that, hey, this particular property, we're doing all right. We're holding our own. We're doing great. Not everybody in those particular properties are all doing well. And if you say, yeah, we're doing all right, it's nothing to write home about, but the lights are on and the bills are getting paid. Okay, could you part with a little bit more? Could your customers part with a little bit more? Because people are going to look at this and say, it's a tax. It's a hotel tax. Mm-hmm. It's not a hotel tax. The hotels don't pay taxes here. They collect taxes from their guests, and then they use those monies to pay the whatever it is that we're trying to do with the hot bonds in the legislature and in the government of Guam. And so I worry about that, because I am concerned that our hospitality industry is not as big and as strong as it is as I'd like it to be. I think we're still delicate. I'm glad that we've got a couple more flights coming out of Japan eventually. I'm glad that there's a little bit more of a nod to doing promotions in Japan. But when you start looking around here, and I've been down on this for a while, when you start looking around Guam, and don't look at it from the perspective of a resident. Try to look at it from the perspective of somebody who's only going to be here for 3 days, that saved all kinds of money to come out here and spend some time in a tropical island paradise.
Yeah.
And there might be places down Pleasure Island, up and down Tumon, where they're getting that very happy tropical island experience. But in a lot of cases, once you drive out of Tumon, once you drive out of certain parts of Tamuning, where Santa Fe is and the Sheraton are, we're not giving them that experience. We've got trash trucks that are leaking that awful funk juice, Julie is called, that Anam Basula out there. You got trash on the sides of the road. I went to get a refreshment last night at Touré, and decided that I wanted to walk a little bit along the beach. Mm-hmm. Because it was nice and it was sunset, right. And Jimmy D's was closed. Where was I? And so you can't see it from the street, but on the other side, the riprap, on the other side of the the rocks that we've got along the side there, mm-hmm. There's all kinds of trash. Oh. And I didn't have a bag to pick anything up, and I was kicking myself. Why didn't you bring a bag? Because I wasn't expecting to find trash here.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm there, and I'm really embarrassed about it, because here comes 1, 2, 3 Japanese tourists walking up and down that same beach, looking at the same trash as I was. And I thought, these guys are never coming back here.
They have trucks that drive up and down the beach.
It was on the other side.
Oh,
it was on the other
okay.
side,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then if you go to any of the pavilions that we have up and down. One of the things that you will see there is there will be a bag of trash. Very common, right? So, because you get guys and they'll go down there and they'll have their lunch, they'll have a little barbecue with some friends or something like that, and they're very fastidious. They'll clean up after themselves, but there's no trash cans to put the trash bags in.
So they just leave it there.
So they just leave it there, and and you know, I know what you're going to say. Well, this is not people that live here don't do that. I don't know. You know, it was over at Paseo. And there was some people that were having a party at one of the pavilions over by the gym set that they have, the little kid swing set that they've got there.
Right.
And I watched them clean up every stitch of aluminum can and piece of paper and plastic in the place. And they went out to beyond where they were. And Micronesian family. Real handsome family out there, a lot of beautiful kids, and they were out there cleaning up, and the guy comes up to me afterwards and says, "Excuse me," and I said, "Yeah." He says, "Where's the trash can for this?" And he's holding a full bag of trash. He says, "Where's the trash can?" I said, "I don't know." Doesn't that suck? I said, boy, you're going to have to take that home. You're going to have to put it in the back of your truck and take it home. He said, "Okay, I guess that's what I got to do." Not everybody will do that, though. Guys, we got to clean this place up. We got to clean this place up, and let's not talk about increasing the hotel occupancy tax until we've got it cleaned up a little bit more and put a fresh coat of paint on some of the places.
You mean the tourist greed fee?
Yeah, because it's starting to look kind of run down around here, guys. 9:48 in the program, and so I was talking about those taxes. There's going to be more. They've had a couple of hearings on some sin taxes. Nothing listed for season 4 that I find for Rick and Morty. Is the show. Well, it's got to be. Adult Swim. Check Adult Swim's website. Maybe you'll find something in there. But there's going to be more sin taxes, and I'm very concerned about this because I'm a sinner. Can I just say right here, in the here and now, I'm a sinner, and as a result of being a sinner, I have to pay more for my 6-pack of refreshments, and you have to pay more for your cigarette smoking, right? And even if you weren't a cigarette smoking guy, you know what? They'd still nick you on chewing tobacco and snuffing stuff.
Right. And then, of course, there's the beer, too. So
yeah, I already said beer.
Yeah,
I said refreshments because, you know, it's after 9 o'clock. There might be young people listening, and I don't want to be a negative influence on them. I want to be a horrible warning. That's what I want to be. Are you having a good time? Guys, are you having a good time watching this thing on the Dragon's Lair? Total running time for the playthrough is 11 minutes.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? I mean, did you ever make it all the way through?
I never even got to play on the thing that long.
Yeah.
I made it till about a minute and a half. That was it.
I'm almost positive there's a way that you can download this now and play it. Back in those days, it was Laserdisc technology, and it was some really, really sweet stuff. But anyway, so
now they have emulators that you can actually, like you said, you can download the emulator and the program, and yeah.
I wasted a ridiculous amount of time doing that in about 2007.
Yes, I did too.
Right? When they first came out with it, they would say, "Here, you need to try this." I'm like, "Oh, I don't need to do that. I go back in time. I don't need to relive those days. I'm a grown man now. What am I doing playing video games from the 70s and the 80s?" And then you're like, "Damn, this is fun."
Oh, look, Dig Dug.
I don't have to pay it. I don't have to pay for this. See, now you did it again. You totally distracted me in a small talk portion of the program. I was talking about sin taxes, and admitted happily that I'm a sinner. Father Eric prays for me on a daily basis. He does. You know that mass they do up at the friary. That's for me.
For you.
Yes,
Nice.
The whole thing is for me. Just assume the intention is for me and my soul. So I will admit freely that I am a sinner, guys. God made beer, and that makes me very, very happy. I was a smoker for a long time, 30-year, 2-pack-a-day smoker. Thank God I was able to quit and get out from under that and find new and different ways to sin because I wasn't doing that one anymore.
Well, you've just got to find balance, you know.
But, well, this is what they refer to as balance. And I was looking at this a little bit earlier because as I start talking about sin taxes, there may be people who are of exactly the same mind that want to take things that you and I enjoy on a daily basis. And because we enjoy them, they're sinful. And I'll give you an example. I'm not a big soda guy much anymore. My favorites, is it Aloha Made? There's a brand of juices that you can buy in the store, and I buy them in particular because they don't have soda in them.
Right.
Not that I'm down on soda, just they're not soda, and they don't have high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
And so it uses cane sugar, and so I drink the passion guava. No, orange guava.
Yeah.
Passion orange is the one that I drink. I've always got a couple of 6-packs of that in the refrigerator next to my Tide Pods. I'll explain later. What will happen now is that people are going to want to say that sugar it leads to kids getting fat, and we'll go back to the same litany here. We'll go back to the same Democrat litany that says if we can just save one life, if we can just make life easier.
You haven't heard that sugar causes cancer?
Whatever. Yeah. Everything causes cancer.
I saw it on the internet.
My electric radio read meter from my power thing, this is supposed to cause cancer too. Eating too much hot stuff will cause cancer. So that's going to be the thing, is they're going to look at it and say, you know what, we're going to institute a soda/sugary drink tax. And that's going to be the next sin tax coming down. Mark my words. I was the one that started telling you that people were hyperventilating about soda straws. You remember?
Yeah.
Back in February, March. And now what are we talking about? How many restaurants now are you going to go to, and they're going to give you a drink that any other time, any other place, you would be able to wrap your lips around a straw.
Right.
And the best size straws, I think, are still McDonald's, right?
Yeah, the big.
Yeah, they're a little bit bigger than. I don't like the ones that are too big. That come with the boba drinks.
No.
Because sometimes I suck up the boba and I choke.
No, you don't. High velocity.
So when we do this, don't play the liner that talks about talk that matters most, okay? Don't. So
take that one out.
So you remember, but I warned you that people were hyperventilating about plastic straws just a few months ago, and now watch. There's going to be more of that. Somebody at the legislature is going to put together a piece of legislation that will either tax it or ban it. One where you want a plastic straw with your drink, 10 cents, and that goes to the government of Guam. Nice. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. It's going to happen. What else do we add to these sin taxes? Coffee. Believe it or not, in some places. Yeah, this get me all kinds of trouble with people that I know. Coffee is listed in some places as a candidate for sin, quote, sin taxes.
You will have a...
Not that coffee is bad for you. Not that drinking it is a sin. It is an indulgence in some cases.
We're not allowed to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, so if you're doing something that brings you any kind of joy, somewhere out there is a Democrat that doesn't like it, and they're going to want to tax you for it. And they'll find something. They'll say, oh, wait, you know what? We're going to use this money for, who should we use it for? Oh, old people, the Manumco.
Okay.
Right? We're going to use this money. We're going to take them. It's just a little bit. It'll only be a couple of cents on each dollar that you spend on coffee. But we're going to take this and we're going to make it to make the lives of our old people, our ancestors, the people that loved and cared for us when we couldn't love and care for us ourselves. We're going to take that. And I'll bet you they're going to find somebody and name it after somebody. That's the other. Whenever there's a piece of legislation out that they have to have somebody's name on it, watch out. You're going to take it in the shorts every time. Finally, fast foods. Here's another one. Fast foods is another one of these candidates for these so-called sin taxes. Why? Because fast food has lots of calories in it. Not the way I eat it. Not the way I eat it. I'm sorry. You know, Wendy's makes stuff. It's the same chicken thing, but instead of putting it between a couple of pieces of bread, they put it in a salad. So if it's a salad, am I still going to get the sin tax on that? I'm just saying, kids, watch out for it because the government of Guam cannot go on a diet. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And the teachable moment here is that because they can't go on a diet, it's going to cost us more. And the reason why it's going to cost us more is because you might be hollering at the radio going, right on, Ray! Sonny, say it like it is. Somebody tell it the truth on the radio. And that's what I'm going to do. And nobody's going to go to the public hearing that BJ's calling for next week and say that these taxes have got to go. We cannot have these taxes. The people can't afford the taxes, and the people cannot afford this government. So if somebody's got to give a little bit, the government needs to go on a crash diet, and it's as simple as that. 9:56 is the time. Be right back.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Next year, that's the worst information that I've gotten all day long about Game of Thrones. So we're not going to see season, what is it, 9 that we're up to until April of next year? I know you're making that face. Season 9? Are we up that far? And it feels like it's just a few days ago that, it feels like it's a few days ago that I watched Game of Thrones, because it was a few days ago. I rewatched the last 3 episodes of the last season because I wanted to, I kind of want to be prepped on what's going to be happening when the new season starts.
Right.
Yeah, and I've toyed with the idea every once in a while of going back to episode 1, season 1. And starting the process all over again.
Wow, okay.
I've toyed with the idea. I don't know that I'm actually going to do that. And you know what? Every time I do, because it's on that HBO thing that I have on either Netflix or Hulu, I forget. But every time I do, I go back and rewatch. I re-binge on Deadwood. Did you ever watch Deadwood?
I haven't seen Deadwood.
Oh,
no.
Deadwood is great. Yeah, so I'll restart that every once in a while. And then the other one that it started playing on its own after I was watching something, and I thought, yeah, you know what, this wasn't a bad show. I didn't like the end of the scene. Western World or Westworld.
Westworld, yeah.
Yeah.
That goes back to, what, a 70s movie.
Yeah, with Yul Brynner was the bad guy.
That's right.
And that was a terrifying movie for its day, among some other pretty terrifying movies that came out, some of the original thrill kill cult movies that were fun to watch. 9:59, and I guess that's where we're going to end the program today, kids. I wanted to spend a little bit more time ragging Adeloop on the number of hires and people that have gotten raises since the fiscal crisis began. Yeah, whatever. And I might do that tomorrow because I've got the numbers in front of me. Or I might not. Who knows? There might be something else that pops up tomorrow that might enrage all of us. We'll see what happens. The radio station is KUSG. Got ya. My name is Ray Gibson. For Michael Knight, Kevin Kerrigan, and Blake Watson, who all take up a position one way or the other on the program. Thanks so much for listening and watching the show. I'll see you and hear you tomorrow morning right here on The Point, 93.3 FMs. Got Fox News coming up here in just seconds.
This is a Fox News alert. 1 hour away. I'm Lisa Lacera. We have the names of the finalists, but we'll have to wait until President Trump makes the official announcement on who will replace retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Amy Coney Barrett reportedly in Indiana tonight, crossing her off the list of finalists. The president said to have narrowed his choice down to 3 federal judges: Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, and Thomas Hardiman. Utah Republican Senator Orrin Hatch will be at the White House for tonight's announcement.
Well, I think the president really wants somebody who's going to uphold the Constitution and stand behind those laws and quit playing politics with the Supreme Court.
If Democrats hope to block the president's choice, their only option is to convince at least one Republican senator to break ranks and vote against the president's nominee. Lisa?
John, the top Senate Democrat already sending up a warning signal despite not knowing who the choice is.
Everyone ought to understand what it means for the freedom of women to make their own health care decisions, and for the protection for Americans with pre-existing conditions. Those rights will be gravely threatened.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer. You can hear live coverage of President Trump's announcement beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern on many of these Fox radio stations. Another former FBI employee named in documents surrounding the Clinton email investigation will testify before Congress this week.
Multiple sources now confirmed to Fox News that former FBI lawyer Lisa Page is expected to appear before two House panels Wednesday for a closed-door deposition. The following day, FBI agent Peter Strzok is scheduled to publicly testify about the Clinton email and Russia cases. Strzok and Page, who sent anti-Trump text messages during an extramarital affair, were removed from the Russia case.
Fox's Catherine Herridge in Washington. Fox News, fair and balanced.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present. When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium. When I grow up, I want to be a warm place on a cold day. When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash. I want to be a bike that races around the country. When I grow up, I want to